Check.
Yeah. Check. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I hear you.
Apostate Radio.
Oh my Lord, not again. You'll have to forgive my musically inclined friend. He wanted to make sure that all of the levels were correct.
Oh man, it's been a rough one, man.
God, who are you telling?
It's been a rough one.
So you're not feeling well.
Yeah, I might have come down with the flu, man. I've been all day long sick, got a headache, got a low energy. So I did what I can to rest up and boost up. So I'm gonna make it work. But long rough day, man. And then that happened with the audio.
A little bit late. We do apologize.
Yeah.
I've been tending to a sick fiance. She was down. Yeah, my fiance was down here in Brooklyn, and unfortunately, she started coming down with something yesterday, and then like today, it was just like she was just out, like on the couch most of the day.
Yep, same movie.
And yeah, but I hope you feel better. I hope that let's say a quick word of prayer for Kareen. But ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and we are grateful to be coming to you as ever from the County of Kings, the People's Republic of Brooklyn. I am Isaiah Carter, and my co-host, Mr. Nostra Chavez, somewhere in the land of a Pete's.
At Nostra Chavez on X for everybody listening on the podcast only.
Yes,
now or in the future, and at Isaiah L. Carter and at Apostate Radio NY. To follow us.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
YouTube,
indeed.
Rumble as well. Follow my brother Isaiah L. Carter.
Rumble. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. MySpace,
AIM screen name. Oh man,
do you see? That's what you get for making us, because you're making me like fucking ancient now. I'm ready to reach for a bottle of Centrum Silver. Jesus Christ.
You and me both, man.
So we have a very, very big show for you all. As stated earlier, we have Mr. Alexi Lalas, Mr. Sunshine himself.
Big Red.
Yeah, Big Red. The Big Red. Yeah, he was the Big Red. He was the Big Red Machine before before the wrestler came up with it.
Kane, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Red Machine, the Big Red Eagle.
Can you believe? Speaking of Big Red Machines, did you Glenn Jacobs is the mayor of a town in Ohio? Yeah,
he was getting involved with politics earlier too. I think when he was a wrestler still, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I think he ran for something. I don't think he won, but so he's had interest in that. Like Jesse Ventura before him, and
Jesse Ventura. He ran for governor of Minnesota, and he shocked the world.
Yeah,
that was him.
Who's better, Jesse Ventura or Tim Walz? Tampon Tim. You gotta ask our Minnesota friends that.
Oh God. Oh, he was the mayor. Tony Wood over on YouTube says he was the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Who was Kane?
Yeah, Glenn Jacobs was. Okay, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony, for that.
Thank you, Tony.
Make sure also while you are following us on our socials, make sure you also support the show at buymeacoffee.com/apostate radio. We are doing big. Yes. He's got the cup.
This is thanks to Alexis Irvine.
Alexis Irvine. Yes, absolutely.
And I think your boy Nasser Chavez needs more coffee today. So please support me.
You need a fucking vitamin B12 shot, babe.
I need a bump right now, bro.
Oh shit.
I just can't do that kind of thing. I'm just joking.
Action Tunes says it's a beautiful Sunday to sit around with the Apostate boys. Thank you.
Ooh, shout out to Action Tunes, maybe look them up. They got I actually know them, and Action Tunes got some good video games, great comics, animations, animating studio. Fantastic stuff.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for the support, brother.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. So Alexi Lalas and our great friend Will from MLS Moves will be joining us at 9. Yeah, Big Willie. He I owe Will a public debt of thanks for putting me on to StreamYard. Fantastic streaming service. I've been very happy thus far. I was using Streamlabs and getting like absolutely lost with that shit. So big shout out to Will, and I'll tell him to his face that he's awesome. Later on in the show.
Awesome.
But ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about, the two of us. It's been a crazy week. What do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about first?
I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about first, brother. We got a whole list and a little chat there. Oh man, let's see.
Yeah, we go in order.
Let's go in order.
Fact, we can go in order. Like it's been that kind of day. It's been
it's been a tough day, man.
Yeah, well, it's been that kind of week.
It's been that kind of week. It has been that kind of week, man.
So let's start off with this, okay? Because it's leftists gone wild.
Yeah,
leftists have absolutely. Remember what we've talked about in previous episodes of our show, folks. These people are not liberals.
No, that's a fact.
Something happened over the last several years. Okay. Trump, the mere visage of Trump, and now with Elon Musk, has leftists, and we're talking about some of the most privileged people on the planet, got these people going absolutely crazy. From Colin Rugg, a leftist arrested after drawing a swastika on a Cybertruck belonging to a Jewish man in New York City. The man saw the Cybertruck, got out of his Subaru. Like how much on the nose can we be?
Jesus. What did he put on? Did he put that on his mirror, or is that like something that was there already?
What do you mean? Oh, hold on.
It's like tape on the mirror. I don't know if that's something the owner put on there, or if that guy was screwing around.
I don't know.
Probably the owner.
I don't know.
I was owner. But so we got a swastika. What did he do? Like wipe it with the dust, or
he drew it. Yeah, he drew it. He drew it in the dust on his car.
Elon swastika. It's great, man. The liberals are now making swastikas. Way to show Nazis.
Yeah,
way to show him fascists.
You showed him.
Great. Wow. Good job.
Oh God, that's Church Avenue, I think. This is in Borough Park.
Where's Borough Park again?
Brooklyn. It's not too far from where I'm at. I know this neighborhood.
Okay. What's that big
this is Church Ave. This is Church Avenue. Jesus Christ.
Nice. I imagine there's a pretty decent Jewish population in that area too.
There is.
Yeah,
That's
great. That's
great. In that part of Borough Park. Well, in that part, that's like near Church Avenue. That's near Church Avenue, McDonald Avenue, 14th Ave. Like right around. Like actually, it's to the east of Sunset Park.
Okay.
So it's kind of that Sunset Park, Borough Park, like kind of mixture. You know, the kind of like central. It's like central Brooklyn. You know, but it's very multicultural. You've got Jews, you've got Orthodox Jews, living in that part, like Midwood. It's actually right next to Midwood. So it's like Midwood, then Borough Park, then Sunset Park.
Is Midwood on like the border of Queens? Is that right?
No.
Kind of.
No, you're thinking Ridgewood.
Ridgewood. That's what I'm thinking of. Yes.
You're thinking Ridgewood.
That's right.
Ridgewood is what I call middle of nowhere Queens.
Yes. Yes. So you seldom find yourself there unless you live there.
Yeah, unless you live there. Because it's like the M line, like the last remaining piece of like the original Myrtle Avenue line.
Yeah.
Like the M goes along it, like during the weekends, it goes from Essex Street, Delancey Street, Essex Street, out to Metropolitan Avenue, Middle Village. There's the few people I know who live in Ridgewood, they love it. They love it.
I've been there. I hung out there twice. I had friends over there, and then I think I had a date around there too once. But that's about it. I think I've been there like 3-4 times. Anyways, I don't know if I've ever been to Sunset Park. I've been to Prospect Park. I've been Coney Island area, Brooklyn Bridge Park, Dumbo.
I've been
everywhere in Brooklyn.
I've lived here in Brooklyn going on 4.5 years, and I absolutely love it here. It's very different, like depending on where you go. Like the part of Brooklyn I live in is way different from some of the other parts here. I live in a very flat part, like the ground is flat here in Brooklyn. Ground is flat in most of Brooklyn. Very few hills. Yeah, very few hills, unlike the Bronx.
Right. That makes
sense.
Is
like the Bronx is like a fucking mountain range in certain places. But Brooklyn is it's very much West Indian, Jewish, Islamic in certain places. And then also there's the invasive species, which is the white Midwestern hipster. So, and you can find those in Greenpoint and Williamsburg.
Good old Williamsburg.
Good old Williamsburg, man. I haven't seen this, but I know you brought it to my attention. What is up with Bill Burr? Hold on. Action 2 says hipster town. Yeah, you're right.
He's right.
You're right. It's definitely hipster town.
I know he's been around over there.
You know what's crazy? Williamsburg is, I have a lot of emotional ties to Williamsburg. So
I do too, actually. I hang out there quite a bit. Yeah.
Fun fact about me. When I first moved up here to New York in 2015, I unfortunately had a falling out with a friend that I was staying with right when I was starting my career. And I ended up moving to, I ended up like staying at a YMCA because I had nowhere to go. I moved up when I first moved up here to New York. I got no family. I have no family up here. All my family's down in Maryland. Right. So I come up here, just starting this brand new career. And I stayed at this YMCA for about a week and a half. And then after that, I ended up like living in my car for about 3.5 weeks until I moved out to till I found a place out in Queens, out in Jamaica, Queens, and I lived there for like two years and change. But Jamaica. where I stayed at in Williamsburg was North 12th Street. Brooklyn, like anybody who's from Brooklyn will know that area well. North 12th used to have like a factory and stuff down there. They've turned the whole place into a park now. But like North 12th at the time, we're talking 10 years ago, it was where like homeless people with their cars stayed, or like people who lived in RVs would stay. Like there was a very interesting mix of people in that part in that little area, and I was there for most of the time, most of August of 2015. And so by the grace of God, I was able to get the place in Jamaica, and I have by God's grace, again, I've had a roof over my head ever since. So
yeah, well, so nobody can tell you about privilege, huh, man?
no one can tell me about privilege.
That's interesting, man. I've never been homeless, luckily, but my dad was for a little bit. I think he said he was like a month or something. He got kicked out of his house and he was living out in the streets or something like that. He got his parents' house, and he was a little bit of a troublemaker when he was young man. But then he figured it out. My mom, fixed him up as women tend to do with crazy young men.
Yeah,
and mature him up, and then he took care of me and my brothers. And here I am talking with this fine gentleman, Isaiah Carter, with all you,
brother.
This fine audience. So things worked out.
Thank you, brother.
So far, you know.
I got something that thank you, man. Thank you. Thank God for you too, brother. I have something actually to show you off air.
Okay.
So you told me
Bill
about
Burr,
this.
I forgot what he said. Should we play the clip? Because I forgot exactly what he said, but I remember it being like he's just going crazy. And I know he just recently was like celebrating Luigi Mangione and all the shit.
I don't know.
Period. And then like a few years later, this guy sieg-heiled twice.
I saw Elon.
Once in the front, if you missed it in the back. And it's just like he still has a job. That guy still has a job. I don't understand those guys. This isn't politically. It's just like I don't understand why they're so upset with this country. It's like you're billionaires. I think it's working for you. Like why are you going and telling everybody, justify what you do? It's like fucking justify what you do. That piece of shit car that you're making that the government financed.
Piece of shit car.
What?
But you know what you just said? You said that Elon still has a job. He's the richest man in the world. There's nothing they can do to him. And that's all he proved.
He owns like
There's
4
nothing
companies.
anybody can do to him by throwing up when he did that.
What are you supposed to do?
What do you take from him? He's not Kyrie Irving. He's not Kanye. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, but you keep. I don't know. Listen. I don't know how this shit works. I'm just saying that if you said the wrong thing as a comedian, all of a sudden you lost your TV
But
show.
you're not the richest man in the world. If you was the richest comedian in the world ever,
What I don't
if
get.
you were Dave
What I
Chappelle,
don't get is the amount of veterans that people in the armed services that died trying to stop Hitler, and then this guy comes in,
Elon's Hitler,
and does that while being an immigrant too, which is kind of the whole thing. Just none of it like tracks.
You know what? I need to stop this for a second.
Yeah, he hasn't said one correct thing. The whole guy. I mean, I'm a big fan of Bill Burr usually. I like his stand up. I don't agree with everything he says. I think he's one of the best stand-up comedians there is. I don't know how he is recently. I got to see what his last thing was. I think he just came out with one, but he's getting he's getting TDS. It looks like.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is Elon derangement syndrome, and Katie DeWalt says, "If only you were funny," meaning speaking about Bill Burr.
Definitely wasn't funny in that clip, man.
Yeah, he wasn't. No, he wasn't funny in that clip at all. I mean, I'm saying this. I'm saying this as a guy. I'm a stand-up. I also love stand-up. Okay,
me too.
Big stand-up. Big stand-up.
Me too.
And
I was a kid.
Yeah, same. Like I love
George Carlin. I love. Back in the day.
I love Carlin. One of my favorite comedians, probably my second favorite comedian behind Bernie Mac is Lewis Black.
Yeah, I seen Lewis Black live in Wallingford, Oakdale Theater. I seen him back in the day with my girlfriend. I think it was my old girlfriend.
Nice.
He was good. He was really good. Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved his style. That kind of that manic thing he does with his fingers. I love that. I love
one of my favorite jokes by him. Remember, he's talking about soy milk. You remember this joke? He's like, and we all know that there's no soy milk because there's no soy titty, is there?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was a great bit.
He just like lose it all the time. He was funny.
That was a great bit. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But no, so Bill Burr, I have laughed my ass off.
Mm-hmm.
I have LMAO'd several times with this guy. I genuinely don't know what the fuck has come up, what's gotten into him. First off, for anyone who's seen the gesture that Elon did, it was not a Hitler salute. It was a quite uncoordinated, giving of the heart to the crowd, right? I'm doing it here, right?
As an autistic guy. Yeah. And, you know, he's a little bit of an awkward, physically awkward autistic man.
He is a physically awkward autistic man.
Asperger's, whatever he has. Yeah.
And he is on the spectrum. Okay. Right. And I am not about to sit up and be judged or let Elon Musk be judged by a group of people who fucking love this guy, not even 7-8 years ago, when they like, these are the same ones who were calling this guy the next Tony Stark, a real life Tony Stark.
Yeah, I mean, he made electric vehicles possible, which was, you know, used to be the most important thing to Democrats and the left, is like, you know, reducing carbon emissions, all that. He did it. Yeah. He actually did it. He didn't sit in the freaking middle of the highway, or you know, throw paint on a freaking Mona Lisa. He actually did something. Something with his fucking life. You worthless, useless children.
I mean, they're setting fires to Cybertrucks and Model Ys,
putting swastikas on them,
painting swastikas on cars.
That was like a hate crime to them. Like, I don't get it. I don't get these people. Isn't it like, doesn't like the whole like town shut down usually in these places when like somebody paints a freaking swastika on something, or they make their dog do the freaking salute or something? It's like, but now they're doing it and it's okay.
We're talking about we're talking about
absurd.
People. We're talking about people. Remember when Bubba Wallace, that whole thing?
Oh, with Bubba Wallace
with the noose the noose that turned out to be the garage pull, the garage door pull.
Good God.
I mean, all of the, like, I think LeBron James one time got caught spray painting a swastika on his own house.
Why did you do that?
Or was somebody? It was some figure who was spray painting swastikas or some other stuff onto their own property.
I think that was Ilhan Omar.
And well, she's into brother fucking. But anyways, I had warned about this years ago, because the supply of racism has grossly underachieved when it comes to the demand.
100%.
The demand for racism is far higher than the actual amount of racism that's in this world,
and sexism and transphobia and homophobia and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what the fuck that word is. Transphobia. Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. I don't understand.
What the fuck even is that word? I don't know. I have no idea what that word is. No. Oh, you mean believing in objective reality as opposed to the protection racket of a very small group of white men? Yeah, you must be talking about that.
Yeah. Suddenly I have a phobia out of nowhere. I didn't realize I had a phobia. You know, if I question something, if I question putting that stuff on children and indoctrinating them, like a video we might be showing later, a little cartoon.
Actually, we're going to be showing this next.
So right now, man, a little cartoon he's showing the kids. It's like, oh, it's great. Yeah. Just confuse their little brains more.
Yeah,
that won't do any harm. This is apparently being shown in Newton, Massachusetts.
Yeah. I'm gonna let this play through.
Yeah, let's play it through.
I'm gonna let this play through. I have not seen this. Yeah. I have not seen this, but apparently this is what's being shown to children where?
And Newton, Massachusetts. I think it's like maybe a school or a couple schools.
Fucking Massachusetts. Okay. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Aww. Hi, baby. Are you a boy or a girl? Funny you should ask, Sid.
Hold on a second. Oh. Who fucking asked this question? Seriously, who asks this question? Hi, baby. Are you a boy or a girl? A child.
Maybe a very young child, maybe. Yeah.
Child.
Yeah.
Who is apparently old enough. I'm guessing that the kids depicted in this are like 7 or 8 years old or some shit.
Just wandering around in the hospital. Yeah.
just wandering around in a random NICU.
In a NICU
unit. Just like what the fuck?
It gets better.
What are we doing?
One of the first things they check when a new baby is born is what kind of body parts they have. They do that to determine a baby's sex. Most of the time, it's easy to determine, and sometimes it's more complicated.
Now, real quick, I'm going to pause it again. Whenever they say that something is, quote, a little more complicated than that, they're the ones doing the complication.
That's a good point.
They're the ones making it more complicated.
Yeah, I don't think it was too complicated for the entirety of the rest of human history until 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Female.
I mean, because here's my thing. Like, human beings have been a sexually dimorphic species for hundreds of thousands of years. Or if you are a creationist, several thousand. The fact of the matter is, we are born male and we are born female, or we are born female. That is all. But it's been that simple, and anyone who says differently is trying to confuse you. And since they can't confuse a 42-year-old black man and how old are you, bro?
40.
And a 40-year-old Costa Rican guy, they can't confuse us.
Never been confused about this.
But they can come for your kids.
Yep.
Let's continue.
Yep.
This one has a penis. It's a boy. This one has a vulva. It's a girl. Congratulations.
Whoa. Let's hit the brakes, people.
Why? What do we
Wait a second. It's more complicated than that.
Right.
You dumb idiots.
Right.
You uneducated idiots.
Some dead-eyed Dora the Explorer looking motherfucker. What is this?
It's young AOC.
Oh, God.
The way your body looks on the outside is only part of the story.
What?
Stay.
You got to love the stereotypes.
I also love how this kid is educating a bunch of adults.
Exactly.
Like,
but that's Marxist too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
Red Guard shit.
Yeah, that's Red Guard shit. Like the kids are here to educate these old crusty people. Have we ever come across something so wicked as a religion that actually hates getting old?
Yeah.
Communism hates getting old. They hate old people. That's because old people will look at some of these fucks coming out of Columbia University, for instance, and just be like, you guys could go fuck yourselves.
Right. Because old people are wise, man. Older people are wise. Even people like our age, people our age are wise, like, because we've lived some lives, we've worked, we've been through things.
What's crazy to me?
That's why they don't like it. They like people who are very malleable and don't know jack shit. They're just very clever. And they don't know how the world works. And they're like, wait a second, you can know stuff that nobody else knows. Did you know your parents are wrong and dumb and your uncle's stupid and conservative, regressive, racist, and sexist? And it's like, it's like, no, you guys are actually just indoctrinating kids in absolute horseshit. Radical leftist horseshit.
Yeah. But and this is and what I love is the black boy in this cartoon is like, say what? Like what?
Trying to make it cool, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Trying to make it cool and relatable. You could tell white people wrote this shit. Some white woman.
Your ex-girlfriend's boss wrote this shit, man. Probably.
Huh?
Your ex-girlfriend's boss wrote this.
Probably. Oh no.
With me, gang. This is important. Hi, little one. Your sex refers to your physical body parts, remember? But there is also something called gender, which is how you feel inside your body and who you know yourself to be.
Wow. What a formula that, what an equation that is, huh? How you feel inside. I thought that was just like your feeling, your mood, your emotions at the time, whatever. It's like, why do we have to, when did gender become that? Who you know yourself to be? What the hell does that mean? What do you know about yourself when you're fucking 7 or 8? What do you know about yourself when you're 13? What do you really know about yourself when you're 15, 16, 17, 18? What the hell do you know about yourself when you're in your 20s half the time? You know? Good God.
Again, this is what happens when you groom the youth. You turn them into warriors for a Gnostic cult. Again, when these people say, well, the exterior is not everything that you should focus on. We should focus on gender and gender expression and all this to know how a person to know how a baby feels on the inside. This is where I believe they get this bullshit assigned female at birth or assigned male at birth. It's like, my thing is this: show me the formulations, show me the tools that some of these doctors and these experts use to make sure that to do the assigning. Show me the methodology used behind that, and maybe I'll give this a little. Maybe
Dude, the methodology seems to be: you tell me what Oh, you're a girl, then you're a girl. You're a boy, you're a boy. That's not very scientific, man. And also, I think we should say while we're here, real quick, that who coined the word gender, right?
John Money.
Sexologist John Money, who, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1985. This word didn't even exist before that. Nope. So 1955, and this is the same guy. Didn't he worked for Johns Hopkins? He was based out of Baltimore. Wasn't he involved in some pedophilic studies, like we're having like little boys like get sexual with each other or something like that? Wasn't there something like that, or am I making that up?
No, you're not. So
let me look this up.
The story of John Money, it goes like this. There were these twin boys.
Yes.
And one of them suffered a botched circumcision. Mm-hmm. And the poor boy's, like, his wee-wee got, I guess, really badly damaged. Mm-hmm. And so the parents are like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And here comes this quack.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, well, because he's got a narrative that he's trying to prove, because again, this is how leftists work, right? They start from something that they've already predetermined, and then they work backwards. Okay. So they figured, his sexual organs don't matter. So we're just going to socialize him in being a girl. And it didn't even work. In fact, it ended up wrecking the lives of not just the one with the damaged genitals, but also his twin brother. Both of them are now dead. Both of them have been gone since, I want to say, and you could check me on this, Nose. I think they've been gone since 2003.
Who's this?
The twins who were involved, who were victimized by Dr. Money.
So let me see. So I want to read this. So according to this is John Money, David Reamer. I think that Reamer and his twin Brian. So those are Reamer twins. Is their name?
Yes.
And he did biography of David Reamer, and it said starting when Reamer and his twin brother were 6 years old, John Money, the guy who created gender, showed the brothers Go ahead.
Send me the link for it. I'll pull it up on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Let me
put it in the private chat.
Okay. Show chat. Let me see. Exit full screen. Oh, there it is. John Money.
Yeah.
It's under sex reassignment of David Reamer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So according to John Colapinto's biography.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, you can read it now.
Yeah. So according to John Colapinto's biography of David Reimer, starting when Reimer and his twin brother Brian were 6 years old, John Money, the creator of the idea of gender, showed the brothers pornography, little kids, 6 years old kids, brothers, pornography, and forced the two to rehearse sexual acts.
And Money
would order David to get down on all fours, and Brian was forced to come up behind him and place his crotch against his buttocks. Sorry for that.
We don't need to read the rest of
that. But I mean, you guys should look this up on Wikipedia. It's under sex reassignment of David Reimer. What is this page? Is this John Money? Yeah, John Money's page. This is the guy who created gender. This is the thing that we're all supposed to pretend is really important and really serious and really something we need to teach all these kids. He came up with this idea.
Stuff. Yeah,
he sounds like a pedophile to me. I don't know about you.
And he's not the only one. Like there were others. Like if you want to talk about the gender, like John Money was not the first, and he certainly wasn't the last one. Around the same time that John Money came up, there was Michel Foucault.
Yep, he was a known pedophile. He used to go to Africa. He used to go to Africa to go with little kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they base so much of postmodern philosophy on Michel Foucault.
Yeah.
Like he's like a hero to them.
He is. Who knew that postmodernism was full of man boy love, you know?
Rough, man.
Rough indeed.
Disgusting.
So yeah. So let's go back to this slop. That again, your kids are being subjected to this. If you are in Massachusetts, your kids are being subjected to this,
and certainly in other places, videos like this
doesn't always match the sex you were called when you were born.
Okay.
Let's say you were born with a penis and you feel like a boy inside. In that case, your sex and your gender match.
Well, what if you were born with a penis and you know you're a girl inside, not a boy?
Then your sex and don't match.
You're a girl inside. How do you know something like that?
How do you know that?
Especially as a child. I mean, how would you ever know that? But how would you know as a child? What does that mean to get you're a girl inside? What does that mean? Can anybody explain what that means? Anybody? You have a female soul? Do you have a female brain? Your whole body's male, but you grew a female brain? Is that what happened? What does that mean?
The amount of pseudoscience and scholarly articles, quackish scholarly articles that have been produced in service to this madness is absolutely insane. It's frightening. Okay, I do want to move on because we've got a little bit more. Yeah, we've got a lot.
I want to put that on people's radars. If anybody's saying like, "Hey, this isn't really happening in schools. Nobody's being shown this." Like, show them that. Show them the Apostate Radio episode. Like, it's happening and it's fucked up.
Yeah. It's happening. It's real. And I'll tell you something else that's real. Again, this stuff is brought to you by the Democrat Party. Okay? Please understand this, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrat Party is, I believe it's Scott Jennings who has said this.
Shout out to Scott Jennings. Man.
Several occasions. Shout to Scott Jennings. That man needs to be given a raise. Okay. And I think he got one. He deserves, listen, that man deserves it all. I believe he said that the American people, it's the 80-20 rule. I think we've talked about this before. American people could be 80% in favor of something, and Democrats will take the 20% just to stand in opposition.
Yep.
It's literally they never.
What a strategy.
What a strategy. But all the Democrats have done, and they're doing this repeatedly. It's like all they're doing is just showing how they really are a class of elitists. They are the elitist body they are the elitist political arm in the country right now. And it's crazy because I said this to a friend of mine yesterday, that essentially this is my theory. The Democrats are just about the same as the Republicans of the 1980s were. But one major difference. I'm talking about the moral majority. I'm talking about Jerry Falwell, the dogmatic associations that Republicans had with the moral majority and with big business and all this other kind of stuff, right? Democrats are exactly the same now. But the only biggest difference is Democrats worship themselves and they worship the devil. Okay. They're full blown, they're full blown fucking Satanists. I mean, they were sending copies of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. They were sending copies to people in other countries because USAID's been trying to topple governments all over the world. Okay. So and in one of those and in like I think in the acknowledgments or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that. The foreword or something.
The foreword, Saul Alinsky directly says
shouted out Lucifer.
Shouted out the first radical, Lucifer. Yes. Go look it up. It's real.
I think I posted it somewhere. Yeah.
But
I'm not with Mr. Chavez. And I want to just say, Isaiah, because I don't want people to think we're crazy. Like, when you say Democrats, obviously not all Democrats are Satanists, right? A lot of them have no idea that this is going on. They just don't like Trump, and they have, but it's coming from up from on high. A lot of the ideology, the thought leaders, the scholars, those people are really dabbling in some demonic shit.
As somebody,
obviously, there's some Democrats that aren't Satanists.
I can't listen. I'm out that mob. I can't look. I was a Democrat for 15 fucking years. Didn't question anything. Went along with everything. Went along with the machine state. Did a whole bunch of shit. And let me tell you, right now, but the way that these people are acting, the type of evil energy that they're tapping into.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
I don't know 100%. If I'll have time to show. I don't know if I have time.
No, you don't. No, we get it, man. I mean, just look at freaking Hollywood and the award shows and the freaking Sam Smith shows and stuff. Everybody's dressing like Satan and
everybody's dressing like Satan and peeing on each other. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the fashion Met Gala. All that.
I believe he's working.
And then you have crones, old crones like this, like Maxine Waters,
inciting
literally inciting. Well, I'll let you be the judge.
Yeah,
here.
you'll see.
What does Trump expect? Oh, I believe he expects violence. I believe he expects confrontation. I believe he's working toward a civil war. What?
and what exactly does that fucking mean?
Well, if he's working towards a civil war, that means you better start preparing for a civil war against the Republicans and more than half the country have voted for Trump. That's what that means. I mean, she's inciting civil war, basically. She's like getting people primed for it. That's very irresponsible. If Trump did that, imagine if Trump did that. Like for 1 second, he just said that. He's like, they already tried to make him look terrible for saying, talking about the bloodbath with the auto industry and pretending like he said there's gonna be a bloodbath if they lost. But imagine if he actually said what she just said.
Yeah.
What the media would be like. Media would be like, well, Trump's obviously trying to start a civil war, so let's maybe we need to try to assassinate him again. That's how they would react.
Yeah. And what amazes me is how these people the people in charge of the party and also in charge of the media, or who were once the ones who thought they ran the media, who might have had a little proximity to the people who ran the media. Okay, let's just call that what it is. Okay. The fact is, the people who thought they had that proximity they've lost their minds. They've lost their heads. They think they know better than everyone. To see Joy Reid crying on a podcast talking about my show had value. Well, apparently not, because now you're out of a job. If you had value, if you still had value, you would be working.
Dude, Joy Reid's show. No, let's be fair. Her show really did have value, man. If you think about it, think about all the people who just need to watch every day for an hour, like somebody blaming everything on white supremacy and
MAGA person,
racism and sexism all the time, while being racist themselves. Like, if that's a lot. There's some people out there that need that.
I mean, but unfortunately, that got stale. Well, I'm sorry, not unfortunately.
After 10 years of that,
Fortunately for regular people, I stopped watching MSNBC years ago. I don't, and I'm saying this as someone who I knew Joy Reid. I don't know who the fuck that is. Okay, I got no idea who that was. Who they just let go. Yeah. There are others in that network that I've come to meet over the years. One that I've an old friend of mine who actually helped me get into journalism and who I felt I kind of let down by not getting in, but to be honest, I was really spared from a lot of ridiculousness. I still have a lot of love for these people. I don't know who they are anymore. Okay. Well, and then when you and speaking of
the woke mind virus. Yeah.
And speaking of a warped fucking guy, someone who I thought 10 years ago sounded normal and rational and all the rest. This fucking guy, Don Lemon. Don Lemon.
Can't say
this broke bitch.
He is too much, man. Don Lemon. He's
went on with Bill Maher, Club Random.
He has lost it.
And this is what he said. Y'all might want to strap in.
Even Bill wasn't having it, man.
Yeah, y'all might want to strap in for this.
It's the same thing when I see not all black Republicans, but I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying. It is the shortest line to the front. Because if you're black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing.
He committed a Freudian slip. Hold on a second. Let me run that back.
Yeah, bring that back. Yeah.
It's the same thing when I see not all black Republicans, but I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying. It is the shortest line to the front. Because
we talking about a guy who is the epitome of them. I'm pulling back up. See, ladies and gentlemen, in order to make it in leftist media circles, leftist mainstream media circles, if you are a black man, it stands to reason that you have to be gay. They will not respect you otherwise.
Jesus.
If you are trying to get into mainstream or what? Well, we don't use mainstream media anymore. We use machine state media. If you're trying to get into that area, okay, most likely they want you black, they want you gay, or they want you very, very, very weak. Okay. And generally speaking, they prefer if you're in an interracial relationship. Okay.
So funny.
Because again, I guess they just want to make sure that they're gonna be no more Negroes breeding or whatever. But this guy, Don Lemon, is one of the biggest examples of getting pushed to the front of the line because he is black, he is gay, and he has a white husband.
Also, to that point,
all these people roll.
Also, to that point, Isaiah, like he's also talking about politically, right? Like he's saying if you become MAGA, you're a black person, and you become openly MAGA, then you get pushed to the front of the line to be like, I guess the guy they put forward, he's trying to say. But he did the same thing as with the liberal. Like, remember when he had that little speech back in the day in CNN talking about like basically sound like a conservative, like, oh, black people need to work harder, they need to
work harder, pull your pants up. Yeah.
Whatever. That same old stuff you hear, right? And he said he gave like a whole freaking editorial, like a 5-minute editorial on that. And it's like, where the hell did that guy go? Then he became suddenly super woke and anything. If you heard anything like that, it's super racist. And so he did exactly what he claimed that MAGA black people are doing.
Yeah,
100% that's what he did.
Well, the only difference is he pulled his pants down. Pause.
Did you hear about while we're talking Don Lemon? Did you hear about what he got in trouble for that time? Did you hear about this shit?
No, what did he get in trouble for?
Apparently, I think it was I don't know if it was in Massachusetts somewhere, some bar. I think he was in a gay bar or just a bar, and he was trying to hit on some dude, and he like rubbed like his ball sweat on the guy.
Oh
Did you hear
no!
that? Yeah.
Oh no!
He freaking I guess he like went up to the guy, tried to hit on him, and then like rubbed his balls, and then like put it under the guy's nose or something like that.
No!
That was the allegation. That was the allegation. But you can look that up.
Oh no!
He is a wild boy, Don Lemon.
He is a very wild boy. And
that's very poor manners, Don.
It's not just poor manners. It's not just poor manners. Like this guy. Hang on a second. This is the same guy, okay? Same exact guy who not even 3 weeks ago, I'm looking for it now. I just had it. But this guy, matter of fact, here we go. This guy, not even 3 weeks ago, was doing this ignorant shit.
Well, what a clown.
Wait, what the fuck is that?
He's lost his fucking marbles. Look at him.
Like, what are you doing? What is that?
That is unhinged. Unhinged behavior.
Like, dude.
He's losing.
What is that?
Don, you're losing it, bro. And you're welcome to come on Apostate Radio too, man. You'll get a little more relevance because I know that's spiraling out of control down the freaking drain. So come hang out with me and Isaiah.
Yeah, no.
Defend yourself. Because I don't know what the hell. I want to ask him about that goddamn little stunt he was doing. Does he think he's Tom Green or Eric Andre or something? What was that?
I don't know. Well, not only, but my issue is you're doing this bullshit too close to a moving train as a train is moving outside the station.
You can't be doing that.
Scare the fucking conductor. If any shenanigans, the conductor's got to pull the cord and stop the train because you were being an ignorant piece of shit. It's ridiculous.
Or he freaking slips and clonks his head against the freaking moving train. See how that goes.
Now imagine this. That same guy who's flashing memes at people talking like this to you.
If you're black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing. But if you become a black MAGA person, it's like, whoa, let's put them on television.
I think you can be a sincere black MAGA person.
No, I just said I don't think that. I just said I think there can be sincere Republicans,
but you can't be a sincere black Republican.
I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be black and be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
Oh, now they're saying that, huh? Interesting.
You know what I find? I'm gonna tell you what I find really hilarious about that. What Lemon revealed in that moment is that voting for Trump and the whole Make America Great Again movement was in fact the third way out.
Yep.
Here's what I mean by that. For years, the American people have been told that we have two choices to make. We either choose blue or red. Okay? We choose blue or red. Either we choose the Democrat Party, we choose blue, who promises a lot of stuff to all the minorities and gets everybody hyped up and gets everybody, ratcheted up and thinking that they're going to get something and they never do. Well, the only minority that actually gets anything is anything that's LGBTQ, and usually it's white people who get that. Like LGBTQ is a created minority class that was brought in specifically for white people. I am convinced of that. Okay.
Interesting. There's something to that for sure.
A way to
shed, like the non-binary stuff.
well, it's how they shed their whiteness. Remember, if you've been castigated all through K through 12 into college about how the evils of your white skin and then all of a sudden you go into these you learn about all these different identities and genders and bullshit. That's your way out. The gender cult is your way out of that. And so, but then
and you also have a moral status, a moral higher status, right?
Exactly.
Because white people, straight white people, are like, especially straight white men, are the lowest of the low moral status and intersectionality and quote unquote anti-racism, CRT, DEI type stuff, right? So you can escape that, like you said, as a white man, white woman, by being like, oh, actually, I'm actually non-binary. Actually, come to think of it, I'm trans, I'm asexual, I'm agender, I'm whatever the hell, demi-gender. You know, just pick one, and then suddenly I get to hang out with other oppressed people. That makes me more superior. Exactly.
I can even because remember, they inverted intersectionality. They inverted intersectionality. So the more add-ons you have to your being black or being gay or being whatever, the more add-ons you have, the higher up in the higher up the ladder you are in terms of who you get looked to. We talked about this with Paul Rossi last week. Like you're on a higher plane.
You're a black, trans, disabled, Muslim, lesbian woman, or trans. Yeah. I guess you could be all those things too, technically. Like a black, trans, lesbian.
Oh God. Then you end up like that thing that Michael Knowles had to deal with. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
big old person.
Well, my friend, he has arrived.
Oh boy.
He has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Coming to us from somewhere on the somewhere on the West Coast.
Somewhere American.
The Ginger Hammer. Before Roger Goodell came on the scene. He is the host of the State of the Union podcast. Little show y'all might have heard of. He is, let's see, what else is this guy? He is a Fox soccer analyst. This man has played for various MLS clubs, including the last one, which was the LA Galaxy. Defender, USMNT legend. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the icon, Mr. Alexi Lalas.
There he is.
Hey,
Big Red.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes,
sir.
We can hear you just fine, sir.
Oh my goodness! Look at what am I dealing with here? What have I gotten myself into here? Look at you guys! My goodness!
It's real extremist content.
So what's give me the top level synopsis of what you're trying to do here with this show? I've seen a little bit of it, but I want to make sure I give you and your viewers, listeners, what they want out here. Is it just anything and everything, or what are we looking at here?
So what we're discussing tonight, and we got another one of our friends here. Matter of fact, our mutual friend Lex. He is a mild-mannered fellow ginger from somewhere out in whiskey country. Okay, he doesn't support a club, but that's okay because his YouTube channel, MLS Moves, is growing by the day with over 6,000 followers. I give you my guy, Will.
Big Will.
How are you, brother?
It was good until the ginger discrimination you had. It was really nice, and I was feeling good, and then you had to throw that in there.
Wow, this is amazing. By the way, this is amazing. We're less than 2% of the world here, and we're 50% on the actual show here. So long live the mutant gene.
Breaking.
My beard is ginger too. You guys just can't see it. So
what's that?
My beard is ginger too. You guys just can't see it.
Well, you might have it. You might look. It can be dormant. It can be dormant. So long live the mutant gene, whether you're showing it outwardly or not.
Hey, Isaiah, I wore this for you tonight too.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
what?
yeah.
What? Listen. Why? So you can show me what a quarterback who's underserved is.
Oh,
a quarterback with no offensive line. Really? We're gonna do that?
Still good though. Still better.
Oh God. So I brought you. So gentlemen, first off, thank you both for stopping by. I really appreciate it. The reason, I wanted to bring you guys on because there's something that has been troubling me. We are all soccer fans. We love the game. We enjoy it. We play it. Some of us, on a higher level than others. Looking at that one down there.
Pointing at me? Are you pointing at me, Isaiah?
No.
I've been knowing the ball.
No, but you know how this is. Right there, him.
Well, you're talking about the first ever American Serie A player, isn't that right, Alexi?
Yeah, something like that. Back in the 1900s. It was a long time before you guys were around.
Back in the not you, not you.
There you go. I was around.
Too. The 1900s, yes. But here's the thing. There's been an issue that I have come across. So I got to soccer fairly late, I want to say, like as a serious as a serious fan. I got in. I'd been a DC United supporter since 2013. Okay, rest in peace to Big Rob Gillespie. I get in and didn't really get more serious into it until Wayne Rooney connected on that long assist to Lucho Acosta, which you called that match, Alexi, if I remember correctly.
What a play.
I did. It was an amazing finish to a game, and because Rooney was obviously involved, it was nuts. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was going to kind of live on and on. I knew it was a cool game, and I actually, if you listen to it, all you'll hear is my cackling in the background. It was just so completely crazy of a play. So
is that the one where Rooney ran back, tackled, and brought it back up, and then launched a game-winning header cross?
Yes, it was nuts.
That was one of the greatest plays in MLS history.
Yep,
for sure.
That was 100%. One of the that's the greatest play I've ever seen in soccer. One of the greatest plays I've ever seen. But definitely the greatest MLS play that I've ever seen. Who did you call that with?
I think it was JP. I think it was with JP Delacamera, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look, but I haven't heard it in a long time. But I do know that when people have talked to me, you don't even hear me except for, like I said, the cackling, because it was just so completely nuts of a play that I kind of you're supposed to lay out on big moments like that and not walk over if you're working with somebody, or just completely lay out and just let the crowd tell the story. And we did to a certain extent, but I couldn't hold back the laughing in the astonishment that I was seeing.
There's no way, especially since Lucho was sitting on finished the hat trick with that.
Just crazy.
That was insane. And I think didn't Orlando City actually had 10 men? I think they were down a man with that, or were they down 2?
I don't remember.
I don't remember right offhand. But anyways,
a long time ago, man.
Anyways, I remember a different time in American soccer culture. I remember the days of Lot 8 at RFK. I was living back in Baltimore at the time, and I met Big Rob and Barra Brava. Shout to those guys. I remember when there was like a camaraderie among fans that were there for the team. They were there for the game. And somewhere, I would say right around 2019 or 2020, all of that just seemed to go away. And to the point where MLS really seems to, or really sport in general, only seems to want to court a certain fan of a certain political bent. I've like I said, I've noticed this for years. And as a fan of the game, as someone who's been trying to build the sport, in my own little way, what have you seen? What's been your experience with that, Alexi? And then I'll ask you. I'll ask all of you in particular, but I want to start with Alexi.
Well, I would push back in that from a business perspective, I don't think that MLS wants to court any specific political side or anything like that. And that makes sense for any business. You want to have as many customers as possible. But I will agree that, certainly around the time that you are talking about, sports, and not just soccer, but sports in general, reflects culture. And as our culture, drastically changed, and through a bunch of different things, whether it was the actual politics that were going on, whether it was COVID, whether it was, all these different things. And people can call it an awakening. You can call it whatever the hell you want. And again, you can agree or disagree with ultimately what the messages were there. They were upfront. They were in your face. And finally, to your point, they were accepted and championed. And, listen, when you go about doing that, you do risk alienating a certain portion. And in this case, you risk alienating, maybe potentially half of your potential customers that you have out there. So I don't think, I think it directly represents where we were going and where we ultimately have come as a country and as a culture. So maybe since you were in it and you were experiencing it personally and firsthand, you equate it with what was going on with soccer specifically. But I think you could probably make the argument that it also played out in different ways, maybe in other sports. But yeah, I would agree that MLS and soccer in general, at the highest level, maybe at the elite level and the professional level, certainly outwardly has and continues to lean to the left. But I've found over the years that there's a whole lot more agreement and camaraderie, if you will, when it comes to a political perspective that kind of simmers underneath. And again, if people are just intimidated or scared to do that, but in my day in and day out existence nowadays, it's amazing how many people I meet that, to your point, are intimidated, I don't want to use the word scared, because these people aren't necessarily scared, but they are intimidated, and so they do tamp down whatever political persuasion that they have, because again, to your point, it is so powerful on the other side. But the pendulum swings at different points in history and at time, and I don't know when that pendulum is going to swing back. Maybe as the culture is starting to swing back right now, maybe it also starts to be applied to the soccer world out there and the soccer culture that I know you were a part of.
Well, what are your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, so MLS is obviously very unique, right? And a lot of people use the phrasing of it's weird and it's small. And there's a lot of fan bases that want to keep it that way. They want to keep it very weird and very small. And I've talked to all you guys personally just about the gatekeeping we see with MLS, where they don't want certain fans to come in if they don't have a certain belief or don't fit a certain criteria. And because they're afraid of it changing and being something else, they want to own this sport in our country. And to Alexi's point about people coming up to him and saying, hey, I agree with the way you talk and the things you say. I just don't have the courage to say that. I also hear that a lot of times too, or see people. I am starting to see people post more about maybe their beliefs, or not even just their beliefs, maybe just not agreeing with a certain side, saying that, hey, I don't really agree with that. And I love soccer. I love MLS. So I do think we're starting to see a culture shift. And MLS, to what Alexi said, I don't think they're outright endorsing the left. I just think that they know that is their core audience, but they're not saying, hey, no people on the right are allowed to come to our games, or you can't watch our games or support our teams. But I think they know their base. They know the core audience of a lot of their teams. Now, some teams do make posts, which I've said this numerous times. I've talked to several people. I don't like when a team feels obligated. They have to make a statement on every single thing that happens in the world. They have to let you know what they believe. I don't think it's that serious. I mean, we're talking about sports. It's supposed to be an enjoyment, entertainment business that brings everybody together. Everybody is supposed to come together, not really worry about all the real world issues. And, it is frustrating to see teams kind of like, I guess, overstep and tell you what they think and kind of, alienate some of their fans. But I do think that we're going to see a change. And I think in 2026, it's really going to shock the world, or at least the United States, when you see all these different people from all these different backgrounds come together for the World Cup. Me and Alexi just recently did an episode talking about the USMNT and the World Cup and hosting in 2026. I think that is when we're really going to see a shift, and a lot of people who aren't what you'd call left are going to start supporting soccer in the on a broader spectrum.
Isaiah, I have a question for you. Do you want it to be agnostic? Because a lot of people maybe that are watching this or listening to this would say, okay, yeah, but in the past when it was much less, let's say, left leaning, there were still causes and there were still things that happened that maybe some people agree or disagree out there. And do you want it to be this bubble that doesn't have any reflection of what is going on in the country and culture, or do you just want that pendulum to swing back to either what it was or maybe something new that's much more accommodating to more viewpoints?
Great question. I personally want to see it swing back to where people are coming together over the game. I can think of all of the different cultural shifts, and we talked about this in we mentioned different sports, like Colin Kaepernick when he knelt in the NFL, with the whole Black Lives Matter thing in the NBA, Major League Baseball with their various, like, I remember when the Baltimore Orioles, my home team, intentionally, like the Twitter account would not cover the game. The Twitter account would normally cover the game, and instead devoted the whole time that a game was going on to giving stats and all sorts of messaging about LGBTQ stuff. And everyone in the chat, like everyone in their replies were like, why are you doing this? There's no point to this. Like, why? Like, what are you getting? Like, how much in ESG points did you get for doing this?
Isaiah, if I could jump in real quick, and also something that Will said. I think what you see is you'll see there's especially in and during like the peak wokeness of like 2018 to 2022, 23 maybe, things might be dying down a little bit, but you've seen a real sensitivity to offending people of left-wing sensibilities, but then posting let's make it Pride Month, a lot of trans stuff, gender stuff, indoctrination kind of things throughout the whole summer, BLM like the whole year during 2020, which everybody agrees that Black Lives Matter, but do we recognize that BLM is run by literal openly admitted Maoist Marxists, right? This is a fact. You can look up the videos. This is not a right-wing conspiracy theory. This is not something that we just made up. So,
yeah, but I also think that, and now I talked about it in the context of other sports, and that's absolutely something that exists. But also, if we bring it right back down to soccer, I think that soccer. Let's be honest, and I'm talking about American soccer culture, although you could certainly look at international aspects of soccer, and there's plenty of politics that have infiltrated, and I don't know if you want to use the word infected, supporters groups, and have kind of become the identity of supporters for many years. Sure. Lazio, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad. That's just the identity that they have embraced from a supporters culture perspective. When it comes to soccer, being not the major sport in the United States, being a sport that has had to fight for its place in the landscape out there. And also, let's be honest, for those of us that grew up in soccer, being kind of counterculture. Now, there's a coolness to that, but there's also a nerdism that is part of that. And so we have an insecurity and we have an inferiority and kind of wanting to be different, thinking about this game, which, by the way, unlike other sports, is much more global in the way that we think about it, even though we're doing it from a domestic perspective. So I'm just saying that maybe soccer, and in this case, we're talking about Major League Soccer, USL, and NWSL for that matter, maybe because of what it is in the United States, as far as it's come, even in 2025, when we're talking right now, it still lends itself to being, like I said, counterculture. And in that sense, having, people on the left kind of dictate what it looks like, the face of it, the message of it in the stands. And if you're Commissioner Don Garber, for example, from MLS, you want to cultivate a fan base. You want to cultivate the supporters culture because I know, Isaiah, one of the things that's been used to market MLS and soccer leagues out there is this unique experience, is the singing and is the marching and is this sense of camaraderie that's more than just the 90 minutes that you're in the stadium. It's tribal, right? And so that tribe represents and the identity of that tribe ultimately is what we are talking about here and arguing about here. And we can say it should be this or should be this. I'm just saying maybe it was to be expected, in particular when you're talking about soccer, that this ultimately was what was going to happen. Who knows what happens in the future?
Well, I mean, I want to say one thing real quick, Isaiah. And one other thing that I've noticed too, and because I've met all these different fan bases from all over the country, LAFC, New York City FC, whatever it may be, you notice a lot of these fans who they just weren't soccer fans at all. And then they found like it is a group to really take them in and hang out. And they kind of adopted of being a soccer fan. I've seen that numerous times. Had a guy from LAFC a couple months ago, my friend Nick, we had him on who became a fan, and he was telling me that he hated soccer and thought it was boring. And then he got divorced and he was really depressed. And then his friend invited him to a game and they took him in, and it kind of helped him heal or whatever with what he was going through. And he still said he's not that crazy of a soccer fan. So I feel like, at least in years past, there's been people who really weren't even soccer fans to begin with who became MLS fans. So just the whole entire culture and everything about it is, kind of to your point, very unique, very different. And hopefully we will be able, I don't want to say that they've hijacked it because it's not, I don't think it's anywhere close to where it can be, but hopefully it is a place for everybody who wants to be a soccer fan one day, and not just a very small handful who are the loudest group and have taken it over for the last 30 years.
Yeah. I mean,
I just want to kind of finish my thought real quick, Isaiah. I just want to say, like, so I think there was a political lean that was like not worried about offending conservative or moderate people, but very worried about offending, left-wing progressive people. And I think, Isaiah, you would probably agree that it would be better if we just, maybe the teams kind of stayed out of that as clubs.
Yeah.
Stayed out of like, hey, this is what we all believe, right? New York City FC fans, we all believe that it's great to tell kids about gender when they're in the first and second grade all year long, and let the people, Maoist Marxists, kind of dictate what we're going to do with all our policies and defund the police and all that nonsense, right? So it's like, maybe just stay out of that. I do get your point, as Alexi, and I think you're right that it's. We should have always expected it was going to be left-leaning. I think supporter sections tend to be more left-leaning for the most part, not always, but and it's an international game. There's a lot of left-leaning people from all around South America, Europe. So yeah, that's reality-wise, that's true. But I think it should be more accommodating to both. I think you've experienced a lot of blowback, and you're a strong personality. So it seems like it doesn't bother you. It doesn't bother me so much either. I had to lose my podcast basically because I was getting a little fed up with wokeness, and I had to talk about it. And I lost, I think my co-host and the people from New York City FC Nation didn't feel comfortable having me on anymore, even though I think it was a pretty damn good podcast, very funny, very lively.
Do you think that professional sports teams, whether it's a soccer team in MLS or any other ones, have any responsibility that goes beyond the X's and the O's and we won, and this is our New Jersey or anything like that, in terms of talking about things that are happening, whether it's on social media or from a general marketing perspective that they are doing? Do they have any, like I said, cultural, social responsibility to talk about the things, given the power and given the impact that sports has, especially on young people out there, and how where is that line? What is
that's a good question.
Too far? What is enough? And that line probably changes over the years, but anyway, I'm curious to hear.
No, that's a good. I'm gonna let Isaiah talk, but I agree with you. I think there is I think you could probably make it more politically neutral. Like, hey, we're going to help the community with money, building like New York City FC did with building soccer fields, small little soccer fields in different parts of the city, things like that, without it being like, hey, everybody, we're going to blast LGBTQAI plus whatever stuff all over everything the whole year. Like, maybe leave that out of it, leave that to the schools, leave that to the parents, I guess. But anyways, go ahead, Isaiah. I'm sorry.
An example of this would be what my club put out several years ago. This was a club statement that was put out right after the Roe v. Wade, right after the Dobbs decision. okay, from the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Where the club statement was reproductive rights are fundamental human rights. We stand in solidarity with those who may fear the repercussions of yesterday's decision and are committed to creating spaces where all feel safe, welcome, and supported. Our club is committed to fighting for human rights, inclusion, and social justice. That stuff does, like, that was pandering to the Discord servers. Okay. In my opinion, a soccer club is a business. That is an area that that really no soccer business putting out statements like that. And because they're alienating. They're very much alienating. Like, so you go into, like, just John Q customer. I go into a soccer match at Audi Field, and I see this gray tarp that says abortion equals healthcare on it. Okay. Or remember Khashoggi, and then this awful portrait of Jamal of the late Washington Post reporter Jamal Khashoggi on it, because the supporter groups are pissed about sports washing and the fact that Jason Levy took the group out to a Saudi Arabian a facility to train last season. You know what I mean? Like, to me, there's a line. There's a line, and like I said, when you do hyper political stuff like that, one, it blurs the lines of it. One, that becomes, I've watched too many instances where that becomes the focus, where the politics and the virtue signaling and, making people feel like, we're this great and awesome entity that you can spend that a certain amount of people can spend their money with. You know what I'm saying? And at the expense of other people who just ain't with that stuff.
Or if you slightly disagree with it, you're a hateful person, for example, or disagree with certain aspects of something. You just must hate people. And it's like, that's not a good message to have to your fans who just have different values. Maybe they're religious, maybe they're conservative, whatever it is. So I think that is something that's that they really should be thinking about. Maybe being sensitive to both sides, and maybe like you said, Alexi, like maybe being more as far as like being community, helping the community, doing things like scholarships, doing things like helping cancer patients, stuff like that, pushing cancer research or breast cancer month or testicular, whatever it is, that kind of stuff. Like, well, maybe politically neutral stuff would probably be better.
Somebody's gonna have a problem with everything, right?
Well,
I mean, at some point, somebody has a problem with everything.
Well, some people don't like testicles. You're right. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
DC. In DC United's defense, okay.
Yeah.
They are probably one of the most socially active clubs in MLS. I would arguably, and I'm saying, like, with the whole DC Scores program, DC United Foundation do a lot of great work. We're always seeing the players going out and helping, like, with canned goods and doing stuff for the community. I mean, that was one of the late Kevin Payne's. That was the second part of Kevin Payne's maxim when he was the first, like, the sporting director president of the club, which was win championships and serve the community. Okay. And unfortunately, my issue, especially over the last, what has it been? The last MLS Cup we won was 2004. A lot of times the community work has kind of overshadowed the product on the field. Alexi, you guys cover ML, but UN will cover MLS. I know you guys see it. we talk about it all the time. But that's basically where I'm at. It's like, I feel like the politics and the focus and the hyper focus on all of political issues that are so far to the left, I feel like there's just a hyper focus on it, and it's seeped into other areas, which we'll talk about.
Well, can I ask you a question then? Because you're giving, anecdotal type of moments, and that's important. I mean, this is your experience from being a fan and being a fan for a number of years. It would break my heart, and it would hurt me, being an old soccer guy, if there were people that want to be soccer fans, in this case MLS fans, and were deterred because of the experience that they have going to a game. And keep in mind that every place that you go in MLS is different. As Will was saying, there's different fan bases out there, and so it's always going to be a different experience. And that's not what I'm talking about. But if you don't feel that it is accommodating, and to use the vernacular, if you don't feel that it's inclusive, that's a problem. That's a problem from a business perspective, but that's also a problem, I think, from a social and cultural perspective. And to the late Kevin Payne's point about incorporating the community. And so I'm curious, do you think that there are enough people out there to actually matter? Because again, no matter what, at some point somebody's going to have a problem with something. I'm not talking about that, but enough people out there that are deterred and are turned off by the experience when they go to a game because of the signs that they see, the vibe that they get, even, the conversations that they have being and talking about things that either they're not interested in or they have a completely different view, and that's not being accepted in that moment. Do you think there's enough people out there that are experiencing that, where it is affecting the bottom line right now, and it's affecting ultimately the growth of soccer, which is something that all soccer people want, and certainly that I want?
I mean, I've spoken with people in the stands to get their feedback over the years. I've kind of read some of the responses on X and Instagram, from like with my club and with others. I definitely see a change in the culture in terms of not just they know that they don't have the numbers. By they, I'm talking about the leftists who have held the monopoly on soccer culture in America. They know that their time is up. And not only do they know that their time is up, but they're doing things to, I guess, mitigate the damage, to prolong the inevitable, right? An example of that would be Stephen Goff of the Washington Post. Stephen Goff has 160-some thousand followers on X. Okay, he's got, I'm coming up on him. Got 150, almost 151. But he never posts on X anymore. He stopped posting on X after the 2024 election. So now all of the news that he breaks is on Threads and Blue Sky. Okay, Blue Sky, which is exactly his combined audience between the two platforms is 10% of what he has on X. We're talking about a guy who is he is I guess you could say, the soccer reporter of record. With a major publication, with a major mainstream publication like the Washington Post. After Grant Wall passed away, he kind of became that guy. You know what I mean? And you're not posting to the one platform where you've got like all of these people who are waiting for you. Will and I have both told him flat out, on his whenever he posts, we're like, "Welcome back, you've been missed." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going back." Don't look for me here. To me, and I caught on to this months ago. To me, that feels like you're trying to hide the league from people. You're trying to gatekeep the league from people who you don't agree with politically. Why else would you take all your coverage to two smaller social media platforms? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
How do you, Will, you've had that conversation with him too. What was going through your mind when you heard that?
Well, clearly Blue Sky is an echo chamber and kind of like the rebellion version of Twitter, that they're trying to make it that. And, several people have said they were going to leave permanently. And somehow they found their way back to Twitter. I don't know if you see some of the people said they were leaving. I'm never coming back. And they're back on like a week later. That's why I think it's funny. That's why I messaged him, or when he said he posted something, I said, welcome back, because I knew it was inevitable that he would be. And I think it's kind of it's nonsense, honestly. Like going to Blue Sky, posting there's nobody. He might have 15,000 followers over there, right? 10% of, like you said, of what he has on Twitter. But is anyone really getting their soccer news on Blue Sky?
I do.
I can't wait to see.
It's pronounced Blue Ski on this
Blue Ski.
podcast.
Okay.
That's where I get all my soccer news, on Blue Ski.
Okay. I don't think Fabrizio Romano's over there just yet, but most people aren't going over to Blue Ski for their soccer news. So it's like he's screaming into an empty chamber. There's nobody over there. Maybe two people over there. Maybe Alexi has a burner account. He's following him over there. I don't know. Maybe he'll let us know.
Do you have a burner account, Alexi?
It's not a burner account. I think I have one, an actual one.
Right.
Anytime
now we know where you stand.
Anytime something new comes up, I'm in it. I register my name before somebody else takes it, so I can have it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I have never made a poster there, but I just took the MLS Moves name just so someone else could impersonate or pretend to be.
I don't have to worry about that personally. Nobody's trying to take my name.
I think I actually did see someone with your picture and your name on there, so you might want to check.
Well, it's a nice picture, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God, so, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. They probably have my name with like a dartboard on it.
Yeah.
They actually have a Red Bulls logo though instead of DC United, so like it's like your. Yeah.
What?
No, I'm messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Well, what's the reaction been from the DC United faithful relative to you, Isaiah, in terms of, are you a pariah? Because listen,
great question.
I don't know you very well, and I've seen limited stuff of what you do. Obviously, you're a firebrand, and there's certainly stuff that I agree with you, and probably a lot of stuff that I don't agree with you when it comes to life and politics or anything else out there. But that's okay. That's what makes the world go round, and we don't have enough of that. I'm not just talking about soccer. I think in general in life right now. But
100%.
How has this impacted you in terms of your relationship with them? And are you one of those that will now not go and sit with them, either because you don't feel comfortable or the environment that it creates around you is, I guess, for lack of a better word, but again, to use the vernacular of the current day, toxic?
So, for me, I probably have not sat in the Chico stand a single time. Like I'm saying since when the Chico stand was in RFK, I was there with Barra Brava with my friend Rob, Big Rob. I will not sit in the supporter section. I have a lot of enemies in the supporter section because I've got a big mouth, and
you don't say, Isaiah.
So what I've come to find is that it's been it's a complicated relationship for me because I'm there for the badge. I'm there for the badge. I'm there to cheer on the boys. I've met several players who have worn the black and red. I've even, by the grace of God, I've even befriended a couple. Like DC United, from a club perspective, the club has really, really been nice to me in a way, and opened themselves up to me in a way that I never thought possible. Okay, I will say that. In terms of my relationship with the supporter groups, I don't like them. I don't like how alienating they openly are to people who do not align with them exactly politically. And I especially didn't like when, and a matter of fact, going back to the whole sports washing thing from last year, several of the leaders of the supporter groups put Jason Levian and the president of business operations, Danita Johnson, put those two through a Maoist-like struggle session over the sports washing thing. they went on an episode of RFK Refugees, the podcast of record, you could say. They went on there to basically brag about what they'd done. And I took like 2-3 days and just roasted the whole the whole episode, because it was ludicrous, the stuff that they were talking about and the stuff that they were over politicizing everything, and they were a little anti-Semitic too, because Levian is Jewish. So, oh yeah, I'll matter of fact, I'll put that link. I'll put that link to it in the private chats.
But how would this manifest if you were to show up in the stands and stand next to, sing next to these people that I assume you have known for a while? I mean, are they kicking you out? Are they not talking to you? I mean, you can't even get along to the extent that you can be in that supporters section, even though you might have diametrically opposed beliefs when it comes to life, politics, and all those other things. You can't for those 2 hours get along and bond over your common love of this team.
Not with now. Well, you know what? I will say this: there are other people who have come back into the supporter section who I do get along with, but at one point it was like, no. I was I was a season ticket member for several years with the club. Even though I live in New York, I would go down for matches, and I always go to the away games when when DC come up here to play your old club and New York City FC. So I don't like. Maybe one day, like with these guys, who one of them happens to be like the nephew of one of the founders of the original founders of Barra Brava. Maybe one day that can happen. But as of right now, with the ones who have been, like proverbially ruling the roost, as it were, in the Chico stand, the answer to that's no. The answer, that's a hard no.
You know what's sad is just talking to you guys, seeing everything that happens. I had somebody say when I had Alexi on that they weren't going to even listen to the video because of his political views. They didn't want to hear what he had to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it makes me think, and I see this more common, that people say, oh, I can't listen to Alexi because he's conservative, or I'm not, he's an idiot and he's conservative, or whatever it may be. And, he's always gotten grief, right? That's not anything new to him. It's just, this is another layer because he's more outspoken than he has been about his political leanings. But I just have a hard time not believing that if Alexi said, hey, I supported Joe Biden, I voted for Kamala Harris, I'm liberal, that he would probably have, some of these people would be a little bit less harsh on him. Not agree with all his soccer takes, but they wouldn't be as vicious as they are. Nick saying that his podcast was canceled because they said he was too far right or he was too moderate, whatever it may be.
Questioning woke stuff. I used to support Bernie 2016.
If you didn't say any of that stuff, or just even proclaim to be more on the left, your podcast would still be going today.
I was friends with so many of the supporters. I was deep in the supporter culture in New York City FC from the beginning, since 2013 when the club was announced.
I remember you with Jordan and Chris Smith, I think, was another guy, or there was a couple people I remember you being involved with back in the day.
The whole NYCFC Nation crew. When my podcast was a NYCFP, New York City Football Podcast. But yeah, I was very cool with all of the supporter groups. New York City FC, Third Rail, Hearts of Oak, what else am I forgetting? Freaking Blue Ladies, you name it. There's a bunch of them. The La Doce. And those guys loved me, but I don't know. I haven't seen them since 2020. So in 2019, 2020, I haven't seen anybody. A lot of people unfollowed me because I just started talking about politics the entire time, which I get. Maybe you don't want to see that all day. I get it. But I don't know how it would be if I went to the supporter section now. I'd be fine with them. I don't give a crap if they're Marxists. I knew some of them. They're literal Marxists, some of them. Some of those people are really nice. Like my boy TJ, I think that was his name, TJ. Sorry, TJ, if I got that wrong. He was great. But if I saw him now, I don't know if how he would act to me. Maybe he thinks I'm a terrible fascist, evil person who just hates everybody on earth. And maybe I'd get beaten up. Maybe they'd attack me. I don't know. I'm happy to be friends with anybody of any political, whatever, unless you're doing something terrible. But your opinion should not really be something to not be friends with people about. You know, I have friends and family that are on both sides.
This is.
I don't know. I don't find Lexi. I just want to say I don't know if you've probably seen this. I think that the left has a harder time with that, I think, than the right does. But that's what I wanted to say. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think you're right, and I'm sorry for asking so many questions, but for me, this is
please do.
This is illuminating and interesting. Again, we can agree, we can disagree on different things, but what I'm curious is, there's a preaching to the choir element that's going on right here in our little Brady Bunch thing that we got going. Miniature Brady Bunch thing that we got going right. If those people were on this call right now and were pushing back, what do you think some of the problems that they would highlight with you? And when I say you, I obviously it's individual, so there's a personal aspect of it. But what do they see is problematic from having someone like you in the stands next to them? Is it just they can't tolerate something like that because of something that you have said, something that you have done, or just the idea, if it's true or not, at least the idea or the perception that you are X, Y, or Z?
Is that for me or for Isaiah?
Either of you. I think it's for either of you.
You can answer that. Nose, go ahead.
Yeah, I think they probably look, and I'm sure you mean Alexi. I know you've gone through this yourself because I've seen it. You post something, and you're just like, "Hey, I don't know, I'm just questioning this," and then everybody's like, "Oh, why don't you just, dude, stop posting, fascist, stop posting, MAGA, maggot, whatever." Whatever they say. So if I criticize, for example, maybe we shouldn't be like teaching kindergartners, first grade, all the way to 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade about 100 different genders, which is clearly going to confuse little children. That means I hate trans people, right? So they can't be around me because I hate trans people, and I want to do a trans genocide, right? That's the kind of stuff they use, the kind of language they use, which is absurd. I really don't hate anybody. Like I don't hate anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid of any groups of people. I don't have any phobias. It's nonsense. If I question like some feminist thing that just happens to be nonsense, it's bullcrap. If I question that, I hate, I'm a chauvinist. I hate women. I'm a sexist. If I question Black Lives Matter, defund the police, wanting to abolish the nuclear family, lighting cities on fire, Antifa doing that, lighting things on fire, firebombing courthouses all year long. Well, you must be a fascist because you're against Antifa. You're against anti-fascists. So
but that's a post. That's a social media reaction to it. I'm talking about the actual human interaction. And I don't know if you guys have found it, but it's a whole lot different when it's actual humans together. So
I actually
does it also happen that in that
right?
case?
So I'll say this. I think I have a feeling I haven't done it yet. I just haven't been back to a New York City FC game since all that happened, since COVID. I moved back to Connecticut, started a family, all of that. So I have a feeling if I went back there, there'd probably be a lot of people showing me love, and I bet you there'd be a couple people who just think I'm a terrible person. Yeah. And then they might want to start with me. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe they'll just give me the cold shoulder. They'll say something behind their breath. But you're right. I think most of the time in person, people hopefully act like human beings. But these can be very extreme people, very emotional people a lot of times, especially on the far left, especially if they decided in their head, man, you just are really against all marginalized groups. You just hate them.
Do you think that in those groups, when they are sitting there and cheering, do they think that it is like-minded all around them? Because, I mean, the reality is, just if you look at the numbers, you're probably going to be sitting and standing next to somebody at some point that you have diametrically opposed beliefs when it comes to many things in the world, right? It doesn't show up necessarily because you're not sitting there, with an Excel sheet checking up things while you're at a game. Right. But do you think that they think that I'm surrounded by, I'm safe here because I'm surrounded by people that are like-minded?
I think some of them do think that, but yeah, I mean, I hope they expect that like there's people with different opinions around them, and they wouldn't feel so bad if there was a Trump supporter around them or a Republican around them or something like that. I hope so, but there's some people who really do feel like they're unsafe if there's somebody like that around them. Like if there's somebody, you must have heard when people if they come in with like a MAGA hat or something, right?
Sure.
They feel like they're literally unsafe. right? That's what they say. And like, and they'll actually, some of them will probably call security. Some unhinged people will probably call security, being like, "What are you doing in this?" Because clearly, when you wearing this hat, it means you hate this marginalized group, that marginalized group, et cetera, et cetera. You hate immigrants, whatever. And that's really what they believe. And to them, you're just like, you're part of a cause of genocide and forced labor camps or whatever they've got going on in their heads.
Yeah, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm naive and.
But I don't think most people. I don't think most people believe that. Alexi, I don't think. To your point, I don't think the whole supporter section is just filled with far left unhinged people. But there's a number of.
One thing I want to say real quick is what I would hope, or my dream of what this could be one day. It's a memory I had when I was younger. My dad took me to a Titans game. Obviously NFL a little different than MLS, but I went to a game. We had season tickets. I can't remember who we were playing, but this was a season the Titans were really good. They started the season off 10-0. And I didn't really know any of the people around me because we were new to our season tickets. So we got to know people a little bit. But I just remember that when we were scoring, we were winning. And God, those days are long behind us, right? Because the Titans are terrible now. But either way, when we were scoring, had a good play, just high-fiving the guy next to me, getting excited. I don't know what the guy's political beliefs are, what his sexual orientation is, whatever it is. We were just celebrating the same team, having a good time, hoping we come out on top, winning. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be alienating people. It's not supposed to be asking, "Hey, can I check your political party affiliation card before you step in the stadium?" Or what your, whatever it may be. That's what it needs to be, and that's what I hope it will be. And I think with everything that's going on and people speaking, and I think that we talk about the culture shift. That's what it's going to hopefully turn into. And I remember in 2014 when the World Cup, was in Brazil, just seeing so many people here fired up for it in 2014 everywhere. It was like a phenomenon,
I remember
right?
that too.
In 2018, I do think people were excited, but with it being in Russia or when Qatar in 2022, the time zone, I don't think as many people were as excited because it was kind of like you had to get up a little earlier to watch the matches. But I think in 2026, it's going to be like 2014. And I really hope that we have something similar to like what I was talking about in my game, where we just enjoy the company of not just like-minded people as in what you believe, but fans, right? Just join the game, high-fiving. Alexi, when Jermaine Jones scored that goal against Portugal, my friends in the room had all kinds of different affiliations. I don't know what that, I was a little younger back then, but we were screaming around the house, just absolutely celebrating, giving each other high fives. That is what it should be about.
Yeah. I mean, one thing off of that, in my, for lack of a better word, my coming out phase politically, if you will, what's really been interesting to me, and I get people that come up to me, and I'm sure you guys do maybe at different times, and it's almost like this fight club sort of thing where there's a silent understanding and a nod, and we should have like a handshake or something like that, because again, people are still intimidated, and they're shy about it, and like I said, even some of them are scared about it, and so that's a great moment. But I'll be honest with you, the moment that I like even better is when people come up to me and we talk, and they start out saying, "I disagree with you on a lot of things out there, but I respect the fact that you're willing to talk about it." And that's ultimately, I think, what America is. That's ultimately, at least, what America should be more of. Now, Can we get that to happen in an MLS context, or professional soccer, whether it's men's or women's or anything like that? They're in a supporters type of culture. And I don't know, because I think it's made to be kind of like-minded. You're a tribe, and you kind of all think about things in the same way, with the understanding that the bigger that it gets, the more diversity of thought you are going to have, and you're going to have to be accepting of that.
I really do hope that's the case, because I'm just going to flip through some of this stuff here. Like, I don't like this stuff here. This is some of the anecdotes that I was talking about from last year, where support the team. Like this stuff right here is useless to me, because it wasn't about the club. Nothing of this was about supporting the team, Nothing about this was about getting behind the shirt and, you know, and having something that would provide that level of camaraderie. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, when it comes to political beliefs, people will sometimes take your political beliefs and equate it to some sort of moral failing. Alexi, you deal with this on an everyday basis with all these people coming in like, I thought you were so much smarter than you were. I really thought you were a smart guy, but now I find out that you're MAGA and I can't support you. And it's like, so everything that this person was, everything that you were before they knew what your political affiliation was, just goes out the window.
Yeah. And talk about intolerance. Talk about intolerance. I mean, the left always preaches intolerance. I mean, you know, being tolerant. They're the most tolerant, but they're frequently the most intolerant people, especially when it comes to diversity of thought. They preach about diversity. They preach about tolerance. They teach about inclusivity. Preach about it. They are not any of those things with anybody who doesn't agree with that morally and politically.
And some of the signs that you just put up. I mean, look, to your point, again, we have to at some point draw lines here or there, and we're always going to have an argument where that line should be. Some of the stuff I kind of think is universal, and everybody can, you know, puppies and babies and let's cure cancer and that kind of stuff that everybody kind of
you'd hope so
agrees with. Yeah, you hope so. But those signs, what they're doing is they are taking the attention, they are co-opting the attention for something as honorable and as admirable as it may be, and it might even be something that I agree with. To your point, has nothing to do with what is happening in the moment and what is being celebrated on the field. You know, for example, you know, Megan Rapinoe. I talked a lot about that when it all happened when she was kneeling. I will fight to my last breath for Megan Rapinoe or anybody else out there to be able to say whatever they want, not whatever they want, but not without ramifications, right? But you know, the freedom to be able to express yourself, whether it's Megan Rapinoe or anybody else, that's fine. What I objected to was in that moment, co-opting that moment, that 45 seconds that has traditionally been the national anthem, something that, by the way, everybody has agreed upon over the years to use as a moment when everybody is there in tribute and respect out of the country, to co-opt that moment for something else and something that does not have anything ultimately to do with what we are about to see. I can agree and I can disagree with Megan on and others about the different views that they have, but in that moment, what she was doing again was taking that moment, co-opting, hijacking that moment from the majority that have recognized over years and years that this is something that we want to do, and using it for herself. And in the same way that those banners over there are taking that moment and that attention and steering it to something completely different relative to what we're there to celebrate. And again, I can agree with some of those things maybe that are in the stands. I don't know all of them over there, but for a different time and a place, it's appropriate. And in those cases, I don't think that it is.
I think you're talking, Alexi, about which I agree with, that, you know, certain things should probably be a little sacred, right? Maybe the national anthem, we can all just, let's not pick that 45 seconds, minute, whatever it is, to start doing all of our different political views. Maybe everybody just puts their hand on their heart, sings along if they want, and let's just focus on the fact that we are one country and we're going to be, these are the best American women to play, or the best American men to play the game right now, and let's support them. Can we have a moment of that without everything constantly being just a moment, just like a minute where you know, not everything has to be like, by the way, screw you conservatives because you were hateful, and then I'm going to show that right now, or vice versa. It's like maybe just we have a moment where we're just all remembering we're in the same country, we're all neighbors, we're just a giant community, we're kind of a giant family if you think about it. Let's do that. I think that's exactly what we should be doing with that sort of thing. And I think people, if they would understand, like, that's part of the reason why so many on the right and probably people in the middle and people they consider themselves Democrats have a problem with that. It's like, maybe just leave that alone. Do it afterwards. You can do it anytime you want afterwards, all the time, all day long. You could all day long be on live stream talking about how you feel about this. Leave that alone. I agree.
Will, I know that you have to jet. So
yeah, I have to head out. Wife's calling me. That's my cue. I'm sorry, guys. It was a pleasure to see all you guys. Listen. I'm not trying to get in trouble. She gave me an hour. That was gracious of her. Have to head out. Appreciate joining you guys.
I feel you.
Listen, happy wife, happy life, brother.
Happy wife,
exactly.
Happy life.
Exactly. Yep. Have fun tonight. Get in trouble tomorrow. So yes. I will see you guys. I will see you guys later. Appreciate you for having me on.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. We gotta have you on again, brother.
Really appreciate you, man. So with that, Alexi, there is now part of the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and this is one of the bigger concerns that I've had, is in this current political moment. Okay, well, I shouldn't say current because we're in a state of realignment, but in the previous one that we've had over the last couple of years, there have been several victims, we'll say. I hate to use that term, but that's what we're dealing with. And yes, it has a lot to do with DC United. I don't know if you wanted to get into this, but I know this is something that I know you weren't terribly aware of this. I don't
know, what are we talking about?
Oh, sorry. So imagine this. You've got a player that comes over from an Austrian team. You get him to the club in 2022 and he sets the league on fire. We're talking about this gentleman, the gentleman whose jersey hangs behind me, and that would be Taxi Funtas. I've been wanting to talk about this situation with somebody, anybody, and get their thoughts about this. This is something that I've covered for now several years. Who is Taxi Funtas? Well, Taxiarchis Funtas is striker out of Messalongi, Greece. He's played for a lot of clubs over the last, I don't know, like 10, 11 years now. And for about a year, he played for the portion of the 2022 and the first half of the 2023 season, he played for DC United. He set the league on fire when he first came in, and I'll just play a little bit of just to get you up to speed as to who this brother was. Hold on, let me just make sure I get this, and here we go.
Julian Gressel arrives and serves. Now Funtas coming through. Oh, it's in the net! It's in the net! And it's in the net! Look at the DC! Taxi Funtas! That's what he does!
In this fashion, Brad Knight love.
Scoot up to the next one here.
Taxi. Gressel, what a ball for Taxi Funtas. The cross, it's in the net! Oh, it's in the net!
This was Michael Estrada's only goal, by the way.
And DC getting the lead.
That was his only goal that year.
That was perfect.
Showing his quality. Mark Gonzalez.
And then
Estrada.
Last one.
Defending. Durkin. Ricochets off poster. Funtas. Taxi, the shot. Oh, it's in the net! It is in the net! Do you believe this guy?
That man,
that boy, good.
That was his first game. 2 goals and an assist. He set the league on fire. He had a hat trick the same year. The guy is just an automatic scorer. And he was for 2022. I mean, even though that was our wooden spoon season, we got beat like 13-0 by Philadelphia Union on aggregate that season. And, we had three what did we have? 3 coaches in 2022. That was a rough year. It was a very rough year, and he was a big bright spot. In September of 2022, there was an incident in a match where we played Inter Miami at home. There was a tie-up. I was trying to find the video of this. The incident happened somewhere in the 55th minute, and Funtas was accused of using a racial slur towards a black player. It never sat well. The thing was, it didn't sit well with me because, for one, he was subbed off in the 65th minute, and the league dragged out this investigation. I actually found let me see if I can bring it up again. I found a video of this guy, of Phil Neville, a post-game interview. Hold on, let me find it here. It is. Wait a minute. I'm looking for it. Bear with me a second, because I thought I had it laid. I thought I had it here. Yeah, here we go. We'll bring that up. And hold on a second. Pardon. I'm doing production on the fly. Hang on one second. And stop screen. Present. All right.
Alexi, how's your Sunday been?
Yeah, pardon me.
Good.
Pardon me.
It's good.
It's good. I do apologize, guys.
Hope it's still going well for you.
It's going well. I mean, look, I like I said before, this is interesting to me. Again, to get a peek into experiences that you guys have and have had over the years, and so I appreciate you letting me kind of hang out here. I am fascinated by the it's not underground, it's not niche anymore, but the advent of sports media. In this case, we're talking about soccer and the platforms, obviously, and the technology that exists. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's a good thing. And I'm from back in the day when we started with like fanzines, and then it went to like big soccer boards and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was on big soccer.
Right. So then, this maturation process has been fascinating to see, and I think is really important and good for the game. And so, whether it's something like this that we're doing, or any of the other thousands that are out there, I always enjoy them. I always find time, because I learn something from them. And from my place where I am in soccer, I've had a lot of experiences over the years, but it's changing so rapidly and evolving so quickly that it's important for me, I think, to be talking to people like you and others out there. Again, people I agree with, and people I disagree with, but it doesn't matter.
Actually, you're a true man of the people, brother.
I don't know.
Yes,
about
you
that.
are.
I mean that seriously.
Yes, you are.
I'm a wise ass, but I do mean that.
So here's the post-game interview of Phil Neville, and I watched this. It's the first time I actually watched this. Was doing a little bit of, I guess further. Like I was trying to tighten this up. I watched this video for the first time, and nothing about this sat right with me after I watched it. Here we go. Come on.
Holy shit, man. This is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
That's one crazy press conference.
This is ridiculous.
Is that a Komodo dragon? What is that? A Gila monster?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Come on. I don't want to.
Yeah, we got to finish the game now, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Let's get the 12 points.
Ridiculous. There we go.
There he is.
Got to address probably main issue. It's probably an issue that maybe in the past it's probably been swept under the carpet, but we're a football club that's very proud of our diversity and inclusion in our staff and our supporters, and I think there's no place at all for racism on a football field, in society. I've just been speaking to the owners, all three owners, and they 100% agree There's no way in the world that any form of racism should be happening on a football field. And I must commend my players for keeping their calm. I must commend the referee for a really, really, really difficult situation. He followed the protocol set out by the MLS. And I must give massive respect to Wayne Rooney for dealing with it in the way that he did. I think I've always known him as a class act. I think today he went up in my estimations more than he's ever done, more than any goal that he's ever scored. I think the players were hurt, players were disappointed, and I called the players over because I've in my previous job with England, we've had lots of experiences in certain countries of racism. So we're quite briefed on how to handle these situations. I learned a lot from Gareth Southgate, the England manager, and all the FA staff in terms of. So I called the players over. I asked them if it was okay. I told them that we were going to stick together, deal with this, that it was unacceptable, that there's no forms, there's no place for racism.
I've had enough of that. Now, here's the problem with that. He never spoke. He never said exactly. He never stated what Fountas said exactly. There's a lot of beating around the bush, and which makes sense because when interviewed, you had Ismail Elfath and a couple other referee and the other refs who officiated that match. They found nothing. The league did their investigation, but the problem was the league dragged their feet on the investigation. They started that investigation in September. They didn't announce the findings of said investigation until after MLS Cup, the conference finals of MLS Cup. And just to give this very inconclusive statement, I have, goodness gracious, I don't know. I had all of this together. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry for being a little. This is a little bit of amateur hour here. Here we go.
You
got it. Yeah, I got it.
I was going to sing a little ditty.
Oh, no. You don't have to do that. I promise. You don't have to do that.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. I can bring that up. StreamYard is awesome. I love this thing. Okay. So I'll read some of this in part. Major League Soccer has concluded its investigation into an allegation that DC United player Taxi Fountas used racially abusive language towards an Inter Miami player on September 18th. MLS found that the allegation made by Ime Mabika was credible. Now, initially, they said that the racial slur was directed towards Damian Lowe. While the league investigation could not independently verify the allegation, MLS did not find credible Fountas's claim made during interviews conducted as part of this investigation that he said nothing in that moment, discriminatory or otherwise. Video of the incident clearly shows Mabika suddenly reacting to something he believed he heard from Fountas. MLS was unable to confirm independently what Fountas said in that moment, as has been the league's long-standing practice for determining player discipline for these types of allegations. So in other words, you said something, we know you said something, but we can't confirm what exactly you said. But they dragged this investigation out for like I said, almost 2.5, almost 3 months. And the other thing that struck me about it was there was no, there were 2 other investigations, like Santiago Sosa and I think Cucho Hernandez were they both had investigations. They said something racial to somebody, and their investigations were open and closed in less than a week. But Taxi's was the one that was dragged out. and then after that, they dragged it out, and they give this inconclusive, this vague, which was the way I read it. It was okay. Well, this is as close to a exoneration as you're going to get. What are your thoughts so far about this, Alexi? I don't know. I don't know if we're running long.
No, I don't know. I don't know how long. I don't know. I mean, I remember this when this happened. So you're angry that it was too thorough? I don't understand, because of the time that it took and the way that you read it right there. It seems to me that the league found that he did say something, but not only did they find that he say something, but that he said he didn't say anything. Right? I mean, that's the way that it read. That's the way that it read what you just said.
Taxi said that he had not used that kind of that he had not accused of using
that's
the
not
N-word.
That's not what you just read to me. You just read to me that the league found that he said something and that he told them that he didn't say anything. That is demonstrably false, because he did say something, but they can't tell you what he said. So why would you say you didn't say anything?
I personally think that what I can surmise, because I've spoken to Taxi on several occasions about this, and he is very adamant. I did not use that word. Like, I didn't say the N-word. I didn't use any racial slurs. His English was not good at the time. Okay, so if he had said "ne," which is Greek for yes, then I understand where that could have gotten a little mixed up. But there's something, the situation just didn't smell right to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like a railroading of some kind, because with that vague statement, and they weren't able to just say he did not, like, we could not find that he used a racial slur. They didn't say that. They just said, "Oh, we know you said something," and that was it. And so the next incident, there were two incidents. The other incident was between him and a teammate, Nigel Robertha. This happened in July of 23. There was even less evidence. In fact, it's been reported to me that Robertha said that he told the coaches that nothing was wrong. There was some sort of incident between him and Funtas. He said, Robertha, that is, said that there was that everything was okay, and then 2 days later, he's going to the league accusing Funtas again of using a racial slur. Now I have all of the information on that, and matter of fact, I'll share some of that with you. But not too long after that, they both got placed on administrative leave. Taxi stayed on administrative leave. Robertha came back after 3 days. Ultimately, long story short, they both mutually terminated the contract. And now Taxi's back over in Taxi's in Greece now. He went to Turkey first to play for Trabzonspor, and now he's with Ofi over there in Crete.
Good old Crete.
The thing that bothers me about this situation is that it just seems like this man's entire American career was destroyed based on allegations, based on nothing but allegations. There was no hard evidence of any wrongdoing. It was just simply, we think you said something, and we're gonna make life very miserable for you, until you leave. And so it's been disturbing to me. The club lost about $5.5 million in a potential transfer fee. Because like I said, they broke the contract. They terminated the contract, and DC United went 2-4-4 and missed the playoffs at the end of 2023 because of all this.
So basically, Isaiah's mad about them missing the playoffs that year, Alexi.
Wow. No,
I'm joking. No,
I know.
This is Isaiah's friend.
Well, he became that. Yeah. He became such. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I am a little.
It was
biased.
during a time of really high sensitivity about these sort of thing, and you wonder how much of it was just like a reflex, like, okay, we got to chop his head off because there's a sniff of that. I don't know. I really don't know enough of the details.
I've been trying to for going on 3 years now. Because this was a bad situation. This was a guy who scored like, if I remember correctly, he scored something like it was close to like 19 goals in 36, like 34 appearances, something like that. I've got my stats a little crossed up. But this guy had a budding career in the United States, and he could have been something really great. And I think he was. I personally believe that he was a victim of cancel culture. I do. And that's what bugs me. I mean, just looking at this situation, like, what's your take on this? Or am I reading too far into it?
No, I mean, obviously this is personal to you, so there is bias and baggage that you bring to it, and but you've admitted that, and that's fine. I would say this, when it comes to the benefit of the doubt, a player that's scoring lots of goals has incredible value, and I would think that player is going to at times be given the benefit of the doubt. You also mentioned, I think, two instances that this happened. I will say, nobody wants. I certainly don't want anybody to be falsely accused of anything, and certainly not something that is going to, deride somebody and hurt their trajectory, however great that may be going forward. So when I think about this, that they decided at some point to mutually part ways. All right. I mean, if it was really so egregious, I would think that you would fight for it. But I also can put myself in somebody's shoes that says, you know what? I don't want to deal with this anymore. This has been a nightmare. And I just want to, I want to cut bait, and I want to go, and I want to try to make my life someplace else, because this is not going to work. And that is the lasting image that, whether, I know not you because you have a relationship with him, but that some people have when that name is brought up. Yeah. If he ultimately was not responsible at all, that sucks for him or anybody else that would be put in that type of situation. If on the other hand he did either one or both of those times do what they accused him of, then I think he got off not easy. But I think you have to deal with these things. And to your point, the timing is everything in life. And the moment in which this happened, maybe it would have been dealt differently 5 years before or 5 years after, 5 years after that. But that's just the reality of the world that we live in. I mean, we're living through a moment right now that has changed dramatically in terms of the reactions that we have, in terms of the actions that we take. So what happens today is very different than what happened in during the previous administration, or in the previous administration under Trump, or during COVID, all those different things. So again, timing is everything. I don't know enough about this case here. I hope that he goes on and continues to have a career. I hope he finds happiness both on and off the field. If he is guilty of doing this, ultimately, I hope that it was an aberration, and I hope that this is not something that he continues to do, because there is no call for it, whether it's him or anybody else here. And if and when that kind of stuff happens, you do have to nip it in the bud. And I get that in the emotion and in the moment, players do things and say things. And I want to give grace to people because I can put myself in those types of positions. But again, it goes back to those lines that we're talking about. Where are you drawing the line, and what is unacceptable? And people in Major League Soccer, as with any league, they have to draw those lines. And when they draw those lines, there are going to be people that are going to say, yeah, but the line should be here, or the line should be here. And there are going to be people that say, yeah, but in this particular case, you have to see the nuance and you have to see the layers and all that kind of stuff. But at some point, you have to make those types of decisions.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he did get death threats, and they ended up having to like basically pay off the place where they were staying at for like pay it off early, and they had to do a whole bunch of stuff. His son was like 3-4 years old at the time, and to just kind of pull up stakes, and his wife felt I've developed a relationship with these two, and it's like to see what they went through. Taxi said in an interview when he was playing for Trabzonspor that he very nearly quit soccer because of it. I don't think someone who would have said something like that, I don't think they would have been contemplating quitting soccer. I also don't think that they would have. One thing I left out that I forgot to mention, rather, is that Taxi paid in the second incident. He paid for a polygraph test. He paid for his own polygraph. It was reported. It was confirmed by the Athletic, and I think it was Pablo Maurer who wrote that piece. It was just kind of glossed over, like, he paid for his own. He paid for his own polygraph. That generally doesn't mean much of anything, but but at least he did it. You know what I'm saying? It's like to me, it was like you got narrative. Not you, not you, Lex, but I'm talking like guys like Pablo Maurer at the Athletic. These guys who have this leftist who are already, they're convinced he's they were already convinced he's a racist. They were already ready to throw him out. You had RFK refugees, the podcast I mentioned earlier. The guy, like the two hosts of the show, they went on a strike, a podcast strike, basically protesting his presence on the club. And I'm like, it all just seemed excessive. It was just stupid. It's like, if he did it, there would be proof, and there was no proof. And that was just, and honestly, like I said, I feel like Funtas is a very unfortunate victim of cancel culture. And that's, and really ultimately, Alexi, that's really why I want to see the culture within MLS change. Because when you get so high on your own supply, where everybody's just virtue signaling, where everybody's just like, yay, look at me, I have the right political beliefs, and I'll avoid getting thrown out of my in-group. Like, that was basically what took place there. That kind of culture has to change, and I've seen a lot of it, and not just with DC, where I'm right up on it. I see it with other clubs. I mean, Portland. I mean, Jesus Christ, they might as well be Antifa Timbers Army. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm getting at. It's like there's something wrong. And I've been trying to get to the bottom of it, and I hate that. I mean, please forgive me for kind of dumping this on you. No. But it's been driving me insane for the last. Well, I shouldn't say insane, but it's been concerning me for the last several years.
Well, I mean, I can see that it concerns you, obviously, and look, like I said, he's a friend of yours, and so that support is admirable. Again, I don't know enough about the situation when it comes to what he did. I will say, when you're looking at Portland or others, you seem to be concerned with what has been created and what has been adopted, if you will. And we were talking earlier about the evolution of independent media and everything. Times change. MLS looks very, very different. I mean, back in 1996 when we started, sometimes I wish I could bring people back and just have them sit for a week and see what MLS was. And I'm not even talking about on the field, but yeah, even on the field, what it was, but even off the field and the environment and the climate and the landscape that it was. Mm-hmm. And any type of business, as it grows, as it gets bigger, it's going to go in different directions. And guess what? It's going to go in some directions that people like and people don't like. And there's going to be an element of grumpy old, in this case, men, that say, hey, this is what it used to be. And why isn't it more of that? And why has it become that? And I am constantly trying to guard against being too grumpy without completely abandoning my principles, without completely abandoning common sense, without completely abandoning what I think is right, whether it's something on the field or off the field, in the stadium or outside of the stadium, but with the recognition and I guess the humility that the world moves and the world changes, and it changes in ways that me, you, others at times may agree with, at times might not agree with, at times might be part of the majority, and at times might be part of the minority. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is the reality of the situation. And so when it comes to, like I said, Portland or any place else out there, at times they are going to reflect what that community is. Maybe not all of that community.
Fair enough.
And maybe not even the majority of that community. But it is going to be a reflection of that community. And either people just accept it for what it is, and from a business perspective, you have to be careful, because if it's limiting and it can't grow, then you have a problem. Or you say, this is what it is now, but it can change, and it can change and evolve. I'm not saying that Portland or anything is going to change a lot, and I'm not even saying they necessarily should. But again, it just goes back to what we started talking about at the beginning of our show. I want as many people into the tent as possible. I want to be as welcoming as possible. And to your point, too many times we're not. We're gatekeeping. We are exclusionary in the things that we do, in the things that we say, and that is detrimental to the game that I love. And I recognize that as many people come into the tent, not everybody's going to stay. They might taste test it, but that taste test, I want it to be as awesome an experience as possible. That does not mean that they agree with everything that they see, hear, or experience, but ultimately, in totality, it's something that they enjoy. And more importantly, it's something that they want to come back to. And to your point, everything that we've talked about here tonight is too many times, I think, that experience in totality, they leave and they say, I didn't feel comfortable, or I didn't feel welcome, even if we do get them into the tent. But just getting them to the tent is already a feat in and of itself.
So I've got one question to ask you, and I don't know if Nick, you got anything, but it's two.
Actually, can I ask him first, Isaiah? Because I think it kind of goes along with what we were talking about. I agree with everything you said, Alexi, by the way. That was very very well put. I will say, just separately, not as a rebuttal or anything, that I think in general, not even have to do with soccer, people should also realize that not all change is progress, right? Mm-hmm. So not all things that change, not all new things are necessarily good, not necessarily wanted, not necessarily wise to do. And I think there is a probably every young generation, but I think increasingly in our generation and the media we've seen, it seems to be like anything new that comes out of like universities or something like that is immediately we accept it and that's progress and shut up, right? And then and a lot of it's really not wise. A lot of it actually isn't really philosophically, psychologically, sociologically going to work. Like, for example, when you have people saying like, if you focus so much on diversity, for example, that's a really quick way for people to get tribal and divided with each other. Now, it's not to say that, if you're constantly focusing on this group, that group, this, like breaking them up, it's hard to be a united a group. And that's just, we know that through social psychology and sociology. And that's really what the Democrats and the left have been doing for a long time. And you can't have pluribus without the unum, right? The e pluribus unum. So you have to really, what we should be emphasizing. This is what any good social psychologist will tell you. I'm educated in psychology. I'm a big fan of Jonathan Haidt. I read his book, The Righteous Mind. It's back there. Really great book to understand humanity. And basically, you know, he says, and this isn't even against woke. This is like in 2012 when he wrote this. Actually, probably 2010. And he started writing in 2011. And he's like saying, it's like, you know, if you want to have a lot of camaraderie in a company, in a group, or whatever, it's like you do not emphasize the issue of identity groups or different religious groups, sex and gender. All you do not emphasize that. You should emphasize shared values. What makes us all come together? What do we all believe in? What do we all like? What do we all have in common? That's the way to do it. And we've been going completely in the opposite direction of that, and we're seeing the results of it. So that's just something I want to bring out in general. And if you have something, you know, you want to,
yeah, well, to add to what you were saying, I don't want it to be mistaken that I'm apathetic, because to your point, not all progress is good, and there are times,
or not all change is good.
Sorry, not all. Excuse me, not all change is good.
Yeah,
and
they call it progress.
Exactly. Yeah. But also to your point, that also means that at times fighting for or against is also necessary.
Yes.
And saying, no, this change is not good in the way that I see things. The general I.
And people are allowed to talk about why they think this is a good idea or a bad idea. But I also am hopefully allowed to be like, hey, I think this is a bad idea, and here's why. And hopefully we can just tolerate everybody doing that. But I feel like there's been a little level of not tolerating that from one end of the spectrum. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting it.
Yeah, but so do you think that there's a alternate universe where a bunch of more left-leaning soccer folks are sitting there saying, yeah, they don't want to have a conversation, they don't want to agree to disagree on things, but still sit down and have that debate? Or because you said you don't think the other side does that. So do you think that they're on the other side saying, we don't think the other side does that either?
I don't know. I think there's probably some people who tell themselves that. I'm not sure that that's true, because I feel like you are allowed to, I think most conservative or right-leaning people or moderates are happy to have conversations. I don't think that I don't think the conservatives are generally trying to get people fired. I think there is some versions of cancel culture from the right probably in recent years, but I feel like it's not quite as pronounced. But I'm sure there is some people who think that. But I feel like they immediately on the left, you'll see more, like in the woke left, you'll see more of like, I'm not safe. You hate me. This is violence. Speech is violence is another one we've seen in recent years. So I don't see that so much from the right. I think the right has been the champions of free speech, which, as I'm sure you know, is not the way it used to be. The left used to be the champions of free speech, and now that has changed in recent years for the most part.
It's amazing. It's amazing how things have shifted, and the priorities of one have now gone to the other, and it's this this upside down, backwards type of world that we live in. But to your point, things evolve and things change.
So that actually never got to my question. So Alexi, just to shift gears real quick, did you ever, speaking of cancel culture, since you've been talking about kind of like somewhat pro-conservative or at least questioning Democrat progressive views, even in the most subtle ways sometimes on Twitter, just asking a question. Did you ever find that you were like your career was in trouble? People were messaging you, emailing you, but Alexi, I don't know if you should be tweeting this stuff. Like, you ever experience any of that?
Yeah, you're basically asking about my red-pilled moment or whatever you want to call it. You've
been making tweets like this for a while, so I'm sure there's different moments where people are like, Alexi, you got to stop with this, man. Oh my goodness.
Well, to your point, there's certainly people. I have lost friends, and everybody has, and that kind of happens. Not to the extent I'm bummed in that's what ultimately change things, but
me too.
Again, I'm 54 going on 55 years old. I don't have time, and so it gives me more time to hang out with people that I find interesting. Again, don't have to agree with, but I find interesting. So I enjoy the debate. I enjoy the discussion. I grew up in a household where that was not just encouraged, it was mandatory. You needed to put yourself in the grandest way of debate, put yourself in other people's shoes, and to be able to at least see yourself arguing somebody else's side.
Steel manning.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So I grew up with
very important.
I grew up with that. I enjoy the jousting, if you will, and the back and forth. I fully recognize, certainly when it comes to my personality on X or online over there, that I'm poking and that I'm provocative. It's absolutely intended. I find I get more information out that way, and it's more fun to me. I look at X much more as an information gathering source, and honestly, a video game type of entertainment that
it is fun. It could be very fun.
That's funny.
Exactly. But I wake up each and every day to a litany of names that I am being called and vile things that people say to me simply because of the political stuff that comes out. I keep it to X. On my State of the Union podcast, we don't get into politics, and certainly when I'm on television, although sports are politics, and geopolitics are always kind of going to be part of sports, especially when I'm doing World Cups and these big tournaments. It always
USA versus Canada hockey
exactly,
recently. Yep.
Exactly. Sure. But I'm not sitting up there and telling people how to vote or talking about the latest thing. But it's fun. I also enjoy politics. I enjoy
me too.
The tribalism. I think it mirrors a lot of stuff when it comes to sports. Like I said, you have your sides and you argue. The performative aspect of it, especially when it comes to politicians and all the different relationship building and consensus building and all that kind of stuff. I love it. There is a scoreboard ultimately at the end of the day, and there's a power and cachet that comes from the wins, and a lack of power that comes from the losses out there. So I see a lot of similarities. Obviously, sports are not even close to as important when it comes to the consequences of these types of conversations that we have, or the actions that are taken by politicians. But I do see the connection when it comes to sports, and I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. But yes, to your point, there are people that aren't going to follow me. There are people that are going to immediately not. I could tell them the cure to cancer. Like Trump the other day.
When
he was it doesn't matter what I say. There is a certain segment that aren't going to listen simply because of the messenger. And that's
you never got any pressure from your employers. Is ESPN in the past?
No,
Fox,
I mean, I wasn't. This has only been while I've been at Fox. I was at ESPN. It might be different. And look, if my employers came to me and said, "This is not something that we want you to do," I would respect the fact that they are my employers. We all have bosses. We all have employers at some point in our lives. And I hate to break it to you, but just because you want to do something, you can die on that hill if you want, but you're not going to get paid and you're not going to have a job. And so
exactly,
they've been very very good. I think I've done it in a balanced way. I think I've done it in a fair way. But
it's been great, yeah.
But it's also and for a long time, yeah, it is a tightrope. And I want to be very I hover over that send button.
Yeah,
like everybody else. It's like, is this going to be a problem? And I hate that.
Yes.
I hate that there is that tight wire type of thing. I mean, if I had a way to hit a button and everybody's draft posts automatically just went out into the ether, the entire universe would just collapse.
Oh my God.
That's true. That's very true. Very well said.
Alexi, you've been, again, I want to thank you for being here. You've been absolutely fantastic.
Totally.
I have learned a lot from you in this conversation. The two questions I have. One, are you when are you drafting a when are you drafting your bill to outlaw playing from the back? And I've been wanting to ask you about that. And the second question, and I'm curious about this, do you still play? Like, do you still find time to get out there to get after it?
Yeah, so I had a knee replacement a couple of years ago. I went through all my career. I was fine, not a problem. And then all I did was run And I've been retired now for over 20 years, but all I did was run. I ran long distance and I ran on concrete. And my doctor said, listen, you can keep doing this, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. And it did. And ultimately I got a knee replacement, but I still am able to play even with the knee replacement and charity games and doing all that kind of stuff. As it relates to playing out of the back, it's so interesting. I just had a conversation earlier today. The romantic notion. All right, listen, my mom's a poet. My dad's a professor. I grew up in a house that was adamant about trying as many different things as possible, being involved as many different things as possible growing up. And I love my parents for it. Obviously, I gravitated to sports, but they had no background in sports. They just said, hey, it keeps him out of trouble, and he's good at it. So let's do that. So, when I think about what was the question?
What was the question?
When are you playing from the back? Like, when are you
playing from the
back? So when I think about playing from the back, there is this romantic notion that I don't think it's crept into the game. I just think it's kind of been in the game, but it certainly has gotten bigger, and you can blame Pep Guardiola or whoever you want, Spain, all that kind of stuff with it. And the problem is what has become a pejorative is being pragmatic, right? What's romantic to me is winning. There's nothing more romantic than winning. If I told you guys that in 2026, Christian Pulisic and company are going to win the Men's World Cup, I don't think you or anybody watching or listening gives a crap about how it gets done. It could be the ugliest. And I want to say ugly again. That's just a perspective. That
could be the most Italian way possible.
Right, exactly. It could be completely defensive, long ball down the middle, no
1-0s.
Possession at all, 1-0s all the way. Think Greece and Portugal. Back in the Euros, all that. But nobody would care. Nobody would care at all. Now there are some countries and cultures that they do care about that. But this playing out of the back, all it has done is created a generation that thinks that they're better than they actually are, individually as players and teams. It's also created coaches that feel in order to show their wares, in order to be worthy of attention or value, that they have to play this way. And it is, if you are Barcelona, if you are Man City or anybody else, that's all fine and well. But 99% of the other teams are not that. And so you are trying to, paint the Sistine Chapel with crayons, right? And you can fake it, but it's never going to be the beauty and the romance of the elites. And so
you might not get the results either.
Exactly. And you might not get the results. And for a coach, that's a problem because you're going to get fired. And for players, it's a problem because you're not going to be brought back and you're not going to have another contract. And you can scream and yell and say, yeah, but my coach told me I have to. They are doing things now in the modern game that I would have been fired on the spot for. Passes that people are making out of the back now that never in my wildest dreams would I have dreamt that a player would have made. And yet this is fine, whatever, and I'm sure there's data that they have, but it's just insane.
Is there an example that you can share?
Oh, every single weekend there's an example of somebody playing out of the back there where the ball gets lost and comes right. And the coaches will say, yeah, but it's a risk reward type of thing. And I just think for these teams that aren't good enough, it's one thing a risk reward if you're good enough and you're playing against inferior opposition. But these teams that aren't good enough, that risk reward changes dramatically. I'm not saying if and when they get out, it's great. But when they lose the ball, they're not only losing the ball, but they're losing it in a place that can be devastating for the other team.
100%. Basic.
It's to me losing a ball in that back third when like before the game is even before your attack is even started. To me, that's a little worse than an own goal. I personally, I'm saying this. I hate playing from the back. I hate it. I'm like it. Like I am more of a direct guy. Get it like on a goal kick. I want you. Get it out of there. Get it to midfield. Get it to the middle third, or as close to the forwards as you can. I cannot stand playing from the back. Yeah. Like when I saw, I went to DC United's home opener a couple weeks ago, and I teased Lucas Bartlett. I told him, I said, you had a busy night in the back line. He was like, because there was a lot of playing from behind. It's like you I'm with you, Lex.
You don't want to do that with Rodrigo and Mbappe and Vinicius Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
Catching that ball back there.
And if you're, it's one, like parking the bus, for example. All right.
Yeah.
There is a time. There's a time and place for doing that, and sometimes it's just this is what we have to do because it gives us the best chance. But we all know all it takes is one mistake when you're parking the bus, and now you're losing, and now you have to open yourself up. In warfare, you would much rather, if you have your home, your palace, whatever it is, you would much rather defend further away from it because the closer you get to it, the more risk there is that you are going to sustain damage. So exactly. I mean, it's just it's an amazing transformation of the game. And again, I can constantly remind myself, don't grumpy old man it, but I don't think, and it's all cyclical anyway. At some point, everybody's going to go back to play 4-4-2 and long balls out of the back for
yeah. You're right, Alexi. It's a misguided goal, for especially for teams that just don't have the chops for it. You know,
it's amazing. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing game.
It is.
Alexi, thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. This has been a fantastic show. Where can people follow you? What are you working on, and how can we what you got? What you got?
I appreciate it. So obviously, if you want to scream and yell at me, you can go on X, and I'm up each and every day and screaming and yelling back and doing all that kind of stuff. My State of Union podcast comes out twice a week with my good friend David Mossy, and we look at the game through the lens of red, white, and blue colored glasses. So it's a U.S. focused type of soccer podcast. Again, we bring you what's happening around the world, top level type of stuff, but then we also bring you what the players are doing out there. And I just want to reiterate what I said earlier in the pod. I am just from an old guy, been around a long time. All right. It warms the cockles of my redheaded American heart to see how far the game has come. And more importantly, to see this, what was underground for a while, but now is above ground in terms of the independent media. And it mirrors what's going on in general in media out there. Because there's some really interesting stuff that's going on. There's some really impactful stuff that's going on. And there's an equality, an egalitarian type of situation that's going on where because of the technology that exists, anybody can go out there and anybody can have a platform and a microphone. Good and bad with that. But ultimately, I want as many voices out there talking about the game that I love and talking about things in the world that I love. And I can take and leave them as we go along. But the more, the better. And not just the, ABC, NBC, and CBS that I kind of grew up on out there. The more there is, the better. And it's great for our soccer game to have, whether it's you guys talking about or anybody else out there, because I know there's a number of people out there. Will, I've been on his show, and I love what he's doing from an MLS perspective. But the list goes on and on and on of people out there. And so inevitably, people will come to me and ask me, will you appear on this show or this show or this show? And I always say yes, because I want to talk to people. Whether it's for one person or 100 people or 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people, it doesn't matter to me. I enjoy talking about these things. I want to talk about these things. And ultimately, it's not about being good for me, which it is, but it's good for the game. And I love that.
Here, brother. Man. Man. I really thank you so much.
I want to say one thing to Alexi too, real quick, guys. I'm not muted. Lexi, it was a big honor for me personally. I think it was like 2009, 2010. You had his big Uncle Sam hat. I was in America with the American Outlaws, and I'm sure you probably don't remember, but you signed it for me. It was probably Rentschler Field or Gillette Stadium, and you signed it for me, and I thought that really made my day, and it's a huge honor for you to now be on Apostate Radio with me and Isaiah, and you've been great, man. Hopefully we'll get you back on.
Huge honor, man.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully I can see you guys in person at some point.
Yeah, it'd be great. Next time you're in New York City, let us know.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, hold on. Who is your? Well, I don't want to. You don't have to answer this if you don't want. Who's your team, and who do you think's going to make it big in MLS this year?
Who's my team? So I played for the New England Revolution, what then was the Metro Stars. Then I went over to the Kansas City Wizards, and then I finished up with the Los Angeles Galaxy. My most successful stop was with the Galaxy, and that's what I associate myself with most, but it's just relative to winning MLS Cup and doing that. So, and I live here in Los Angeles, and so it's right down the way. But I like big, bold, arrogant people. It's probably why I like Trump. I like people that want to do things, and I don't look at arrogance as a pejorative. I like people that say, we're gonna do this because it hasn't been done before, and I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna do it. And so,
like Elon with a big dreaming to go to Mars, sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. and it might take different twists and turns along the way, and there might be failures along the way. But I would rather fail trying than not try at all to do big, bold things. And so I love big super clubs out there, and it's not my money. So if they want to spend a lot of money and they want to do big, bold things, that's awesome. And so I've always kind of gravitated to those out there. But ultimately, for me, it's about America. It's about this, this national team, whether it's the men's or the women's. It's near and dear to my heart. From a Fox perspective, we're so excited. We got the Gold Cup this summer. We got the World Cup in 2026. And I'm telling you guys, the summer of 2026 is going to be awesome. The circus is going to come and leave town. We got to use it. We got to harness it. But man, oh man, I'm talking to you today because of the power of what a World Cup can do to an individual. It changed my life forever, and it changed the landscape of soccer forever. And we can do that again in 2026 if we do it correctly. And I cannot wait. It's going to be fun.
Same here, brother. Can't wait.
Again, Alexi Lalas, the man, the myth, the legend, the
icon.
The icon. He has come here. He has blessed our show. And Alexi, we are the better for it, sir. Again, Efgaristo Pauli, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your time. Feel free to come back anytime, man.
Awesome. Yes.
All right. Take care, my friend. We'll see you soon. All right.
All right, Alexi. Thank you. Well, that was great.
That was. That guy is every bit who I thought he'd be.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Every bit the awesome guy that I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, as seen on TV, man. Yeah,
as seen on TV.
What a man of people, for sure. Because people don't realize, like, that is one of the faces of American soccer, like one of the faces, if not the face of American soccer for the last, 30 years, something like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I really enjoy even. And the one thing that I'm going to say, and we'll before we go, I like that he challenged me.
Yeah. Well, what do you expect? Alexi's challenged me too. He was rebutting things and questioning. I like that. Stress testing.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I like that he was able to make our, like challenge us on what we believed, especially with this particular situation with Taxi, and really with the culture in general. That man is the best ambassador for American soccer that we're going to get, ladies and gentlemen. I really mean that. That is our show for tonight. We have gone basically, we've gone the 3 hours. How you feeling there, Nick? You good?
I'm good, man. I took some coffee. I took some Alpha Brain, so I was got energized by Alexi and Will coming on. And some of the nonsense videos we were watching ahead of that before they came on.
Yeah, man.
But it was great, man. It was a great show. I'm feeling good. I'm gonna crash after this, but what a great time.
Same.
I'm really pleased to have Alexi and Will on. Really great.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for joining us here tonight. We are greatly blessed by your presence here. You can follow us at Isaiah L. Carter. You can follow my guy here at Nostra Chavez. You can follow Apostate Radio NY. And so next week, due to a a passing in my family. I think I've spoken about this before with Charles. We will not have a show on the 23rd. I'll be down in Baltimore for the memorial service for Charles alone. We're gonna bury our brother, and I'm looking. Well, I won't say I'm looking forward to it, but as I've said, I was
gotta mourn, man. Gotta mourn. That's important.
I was talking to my brother earlier today, and we were discussing some things about him, and everybody is trying to figure things out in their own way. Like they're trying, like within my family with Charles's passing, and it's gonna be good to go down there and just remember him as the good man that he was. He was a very good man that had a hard life, but he was a good man, and we love him. And so next Sunday, the 23rd, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be back on March 30th.
That's good, man. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see if maybe we could do some midweek stuff too, like before or after, if you guys miss us too much. But that's a good break. I mean, I got plans too to see some friends on Sunday in New Jersey. So that actually works well for me as well, because it would have been I'd have to rush to get back. So that actually works out. But yeah, that's great, brother, to mourn your brother there, and see your family, all your friends you guys have together. That's so important. And generally, like when you lose a loved one like that, like it brings everybody closer together too. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So again, folks, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for I guess working through this. I know soccer is not something that a lot of people really consider, given this particular audience. But I'm telling you right now, go to games, go to a match.
Oh, they're fun.
You will.
They're fun.
Few things
and
will
more
be
affordable. And they're outdoors. That's all great. Yeah.
And yeah, like I firmly believe that soccer, being like Nick just said, it's affordable, it's a lot of fun. Kids,
quality.
It's something that all you need
quality
is a ball.
Football too. Quality
Know
soccer.
what I mean? Like,
MLS,
New York City
MLS
Football
is a lot
Club,
better than it used to be. It's a lot
hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, even DC United. I mean, we drew last night 0-0 against Montreal, but it was a good game. It was a very, very entertaining matchup, and just really like a defensive battle, and like if you can get past the draws, a lot of people can't, but I highly recommend, ladies and gentlemen, go to a football match, check it out. It's like I said, it's affordable. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll enjoy the drums and the cheers. It's great.
And everything's better live anyway. So
there you go. Thank y'all again for joining us. We greatly appreciate y'all on the 30th. Take
30th. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Good night from Brooklyn, and good night from the land of a Pete's.
A Pete.